Oh my god, why is everything so loud again? Ah, chat, chat, you're off the screen. Um, alright, let's go. Let's go. I'm finally getting therapy, guys. Are you proud of me? I'm looking for my cushion. Don't. Oh my god. Okay, play. Lee? Lee. Taylor Lee. 10. Okay. Wow. Dr. Kruger is waiting for you at room 1015. Huh? Wait a second. Ah! My god. Not the flashbang. Oh, it's this guy. Wait, the chat, are you covering the game? Yes, you are. Chat! Chat, no! Right. Moving this up here. What? I can't see. Right. Okay, where the hell am I? Welcome to Kruger Health Solutions Corporation. We are the largest leading multi-specialty medical groups in G2 district, delivering more than 1 million patient visits each year. Did they come out alive? Oh fuck, my game audio isn't working. How dare you do this to me, game audio? I'm gonna cry. I'm gonna crib. Oh my god. Okay, it's not working. Why am I so low on the screen? Alright, there we go. Alright. I am Dr. Albert Gerald Kruger. I will be in charge of your dream therapy today. I don't trust your ass. What? I'm not sick. And what the hell is a dream therapy? Still too loud for me. Just turn this down. Okay, return. That sounds like such a scam. Do not be afraid, my child. I'll have you know that I am a professional and I have What does that have to do with dream therapy? Do I look like a dolphin to you? Before we start our session, I'd like to go over your basic information. What is your name, my child? Taylor Lee? Age? 19. Pronouns, they/them, just like me for real, except I'm not 19 or Taylor Lee. What brings you here today and what are your symptoms? Huh? I said I'm not sick. Very well. Why don't we start with a sanity check? Oh god. Making you roll fucking dice. Not the D&D dice. Do you enjoy math, Taylor? Not particularly. Perfect. Then let's start with some simple math. What the fuck? The rule is very simple. I'll show you a question and you'll need to choose the correct answer from the 4 cards I provide you. Does that sound good? Whatever. Alright, let's get started. 5 plus 9, 14. 8 minus 6, 2. Très bien, très bien. 2 times 2 equals 4. I can't believe it. Nicely done. Hello, what is this, noob? Are you still on your phone? 7 plus 7 equals 14. Magnificent. I'm imagining him like, the French guy from Boku no Hero Academia. 6 minus 3 equals 3. I can't believe it. Nicely done. 1 plus 2, 3. Impressive. 7 plus 9, 16. Excellent job. 7 plus 16, 13. Wow, amazing. 2 plus 4, 6. Magnificent. How long are you gonna make me do this? 8. Oops. What? What the hell? Was that blood? No, it wasn't. That most definitely was. No, it wasn't. Now, Taylor, time is ticking. Focus on your question first. 8 minus 5. 3. Wow, amazing. Wonderful job, Taylor. You got all of them correct. It's basic maths, Albert. Most people know how to do that. You must have used a lot of brain cells for those math questions. No, actually. Why don't we take a little short break? What? Sure? Let me turn up the music. Don't do that. No. Much better. So, how's it going? Huh? How are you feeling? Everything alright? I'm a bit confused, but otherwise all good. How's school? Pretty much the same. You a college student? Yeah. Sweet, are you from G2? Yeah, been living here my whole life. What about you? You from around here as well? Yes, I was born in G2. However, I did not attend college here. I went to G4 for my post-secondary education. Oh, RMU? Yes. That's a pretty dope school. Thank you. Is there anything else? Alright, the break's over. Let's move on to the next session of our therapy, shall we? Okay. For this section, we're gonna play a game. A very classic one. It is called the what game? Have you heard of that? The shell game? No, not really. It is more commonly known... Cups and what? Oh! That. Why don't we give it a try? What do you think? Whatever you say. Love the enthusiasm. Oh. As you can see, I have 3 cups over here. And in one of them, I will be placing a... Pardon me, but it seems that we don't have any balls around here. Just take off yours, bro. Let me go get one. Just what in the hell is going on? Real girl. What the fuck was that? Oh. Thank you for your patience, Taylor. I appreciate it very much. What the hell happened out there? Did you hear that? Hear what? The scream! What scream? This is a waste of time. Shall we proceed with the therapy? As you can see, I have 3 cups over here. And then one of them I will be It's not a ball. I guess it's a ball, but, What the fuck, man? That's not a ball. That's a fucking eyeball. An eyeball is a ball. It is a sphere. You know that's not what I meant. Where the hell did you get it? It was donated by a former patient. Why would you use that for cups and balls? This is messed up. Actually, according to the contract, we are free to use it however we want. Jesus fucking Christ. Any other inquiries? You know, the faster we finish this section, the sooner I can put it back. Okay. Jesus Christ. Anyways, I will be shifting those 3 cups around. And you will tell me which one you think has the ball. Is that clear? Yes, I know how the game works. Perfect. Here we go. This one. Très bien, très bien. I actually lost it that time. Interesting choice. Next time, possibly. The correct answer is... Ta-da! Let's try again. Wow, amazing! Impressive! Fuck. The correct answer is... That's what I thought. God damn it. Let's try again. What? Fuck. Is it the middle one? No, it didn't move. Fuck me. Good effort, Taylor. Your performance wasn't the best, but I know you will do better the next time. When did he get those? Let's take another break, shall we? Sure. Awesome. Let me turn up the music. Pardon me. Albert Kruger speaking. How may I help you? Is that so? Well, I'm sure you're competent enough to come up with a plan, am I correct? No, William, we're not killing it. I'd prefer that we come up with a better plan before resolving into that. Now, please excuse me, I'm with a patient at the moment. Sorry about that. Is everything okay? It sounds pretty serious. Thank you for your concern, Taylor. I appreciate it very much. However, there's no need to be worried. I'll have you know that our team is extremely well trained. Okay, that's good to know. But, by the way, your last name is Kruger, right? That is correct. Just kinda curious, does that mean you're the CEO? Good catch, Taylor. Yes, I am indeed the CEO of Kruger Corporation. In fact, my father was the one who created this company. All I did was simply take over after his death. Is that why you came back from G4? To take over your family's business? Yes, it is part of my destiny. Well, Albert, I'm not sure if you know this, but in this side of the valley, we call it "fuck it, we ball." Fuck destiny, we ball. I see, but damn, I gotta say, I'm pretty honored to receive therapy from the CEO himself. You're too kind, Taylor. I'm just simply doing what I enjoy doing. And not to mention, I enjoyed talking to you very much. I'm glad. I say that's enough time for a short break. Shall we move on to the next section? Sure. This section is a bit different. It is not a game or test, but a way for me to get to know you better. Or as how I usually like to call it, the gateway to your heart. The gateway to my heart? Yes, I will be asking a series of questions. And I'd like you to answer them honestly. Huh? What kind of questions? All kinds of questions. Questions that are about you? Nah, I'll pass. It is an integral part of the therapy. I dropped something. Abstaining is not an option. This ain't fair, you know? I didn't sign up for any of this. Why do I have to tell you anything about me? Well, I guess I can modify this part a little bit. How about each time you tell me something about you, I'll tell you something about me in return? That's tempting. But how do I know if you're lying or not? Trust is extremely important between a patient and their therapist. It is essential for the work to go as far as it needs to. Okay, fine, whatever. Excellent. However, I do have one request. You'll have to close your eyes for this section. And no matter what happens, you can't open your eyes till I tell you so. I don't trust this bitch. I don't trust him. Can I trust you on that? You can trust me to not trust you. Oh, God. Where the fuck? Like this? Yeah, I can also do that. But I won't be able to see the game. I guess I'll do it with one eye. Yes, perfect. My first question is, what was it like growing up in your family? Oh wait, it won't work because of the tracking I'm using. Nothing extraordinary. My parents were immigrants who came to G2 to seek opportunities. I had 2 siblings and we used to all live under the same roof with our parents. Sometimes it gets a little bit annoying, but as a whole it was a pretty happy experience. What about you? What was your family like? It was also quite ordinary. Both of my parents were well-known figures in the medical field. They were very busy people. However, what's different from you is I was the only child. I see. Should I open my eyes? Log. Wait, I can't save. I won't open it for the first one. My second question is, how connected do you feel to the people around you? Well, I'm not very popular in schools, but I do have a few good friends I feel deeply connected to. And my family as well. We understand and respect each other very well. That's good. It is important to have friends and family that support you. Well, what about you? Do you feel connected to the people around you? Of course. I feel deeply connected to all my patients. What the fuck was that? They all mean a lot to me. I guess that's very professional of you. What the hell were all these noises? Should I open my eyes? Alright. First run, I'm gonna choose to trust him. Even though I don't trust his bab. No. You know what? I'm not gonna go with the plot. I'm gonna fucking open my eyes, cause what the fuck was that squeaky ass noise? I'm opening my eyes, Albert. No fucking question. Yes. Why did you open your eyes, Taylor? What the fuck? Next question. If you could wave a magic wand, what positive changes would you make happen in your life? That's a tough one. There's really nothing I'd like to change. I like everything the way it is right now. Interesting response. It is always important to appreciate what you have at hand. Well, let's hear yours. What would you change? I guess the world could have less mediocre people. Excuse me? I'm just joking. I love my life and everything about it. There's nothing that needs to be changed. Something feels off. And what is this weird guitar sound? Should I open my eyes? You know what? Fuck you, Albert. Yes. Is there anything wrong, Taylor? No, nothing. Last question. Have you ever had the urge to murder someone in your life? Or maybe dismember them, chop them into pieces, and make them into a hamburger? Oh, fuck. No, not the capitalism, that too, but not the cannibalism. Excuse me? Of course not. This is messed up. Have you? I personally take a dislike to a hamburger, so no. That's not I'm feeling really uneasy. Should I open my eyes? Yes. What the fuck? What the fuck was that? Taylor, I would kindly ask you to refrain from using such words. No, but what the actual fuck was that thing? I unfortunately have no clue what you're referring to. It seems to me that you could be overstressed and thus had some form of hallucination. Now, I swear to God. Do me a favor, will you, Taylor? Close your eyes and take a few deep breaths. You just can't with this dude, huh? Thank you for your cooperation, Taylor. You are now free to reopen your eyes. Shall we take another short break? Let me make the music louder. I trust this man nuns. Do you hear that? My apologies for such unpleasant experience, Taylor. Now, if you would excuse me, I will go handle that. Why don't you watch some videos in the meantime? Okay? I'll put on some videos. Albert? Yes? Please don't kill him. Of course I won't. Who do you think I am? I'll be back soon. Oh shit, I'm getting a fucking ad.
Stress. It's something many of us deal with on a daily basis, yet something few seem to have mastery over. That's why we're working hard at Kruger, developing life-changing treatments and revolutionary dream therapy, allowing our patients to tackle their stress in ways the world has not seen before. So what are you waiting for? In today's increasingly difficult market, what better thing to invest in than yourself?
Hello again, Taylor. Why has the view count suddenly shot up? Hello, Eliza, what did you do? Wow, what the fuck? Where is it? Are? Doko ni? Oh, it might be here. It would make sense. Boom, 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 boom. Lamau? Well, you didn't. I only did the balls. I did the balls and I did the maths. I passed the maths. I did not pass the balls. Very in character of me to not pass the balls. Hello again, Taylor. I hope you enjoyed the video, and I opened my eyes like 4 times. That was a pretty cool commercial. Thank you. In fact, it is a bit out of date. I plan to update it soon. I see. Did things get resolved with that dude? Yes, resolved. Peacefully. That's good. Are we ready for the next round of therapy? Yeah, sure. This section is going to be a lot more fun than the previous ones. I don't trust this man. Have you the what? What? Rorschach? 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 Taylor. The what test? Isn't that the thing where they show you a picture and ask what you see? That is correct. It is a psychological test developed in 1921 to measure underlying thought disorder and examine a person's personality, characteristics, and emotional functioning. So for this section, I will be showing you a series of ink blots, and you will tell me what you see in them. Is that clear? Yeah, crystal clear. Alright, here we go. Okay, so this is a bit weird, but I'm actually seeing like, you know how like coat of arms work? Like what is it? Like a mirror of like two of an animal. So like a dog on its hind legs. But on second take, I would say moth. Interesting. Very, very interesting. Elephant. And then there's chicks on top. And this is a little guy. Yeah. They're making out the leaf. Rug. Robot. I won't say robot. I can see where the leaf could come from. Definitely not a face though. Not a human. Not a robot. A rug. A leaf. Yeah, I could go with leaf. Okay. This is definitely a moth. Or a lobster. Really cool. Butterfly. Is that what you see? Bones. Bear? Oh, I see it. Right here. The bear. Ears, the closed eyes, and then the mouth. I will click bear for the sole reason that I am bear. Why am I clipping? Okay. I would also keep just choosing crab if I could. I'm choosing bear for personal reasons. Really cool. Oh, thanks, Albert. Is that what you see? Oh, really cool. Yeah. Is that what you see? Quite the imagination. Good job, Taylor. That was incredibly fascinating. Well done, Taylor. Well done. I am so proud of you. I hate to say this, but we're getting close to the end of our therapy. I just want to say I really enjoyed speaking to you. And I really appreciate that you chose Kruger Corporation. Actually didn't, but no worries. It was also a very interesting session for me. I'm glad you enjoyed it as well. That means a lot to me. May I ask, what was your favorite section of the therapy? Favorite section? They were all pretty cool, I guess. You're too kind, Taylor. I'm so glad to hear that. Would you mind filling out this post-therapy survey for me? That would mean a lot to me. Sure? No. Bro, thanks a lot. That was a big help. Before I let you go, can I have one last request? Sure, what is it? Will you sacrifice yourself for the G2 district? Huh? We need you for building a better future of G2 district. We need you to feed the hungry people of G2 District. G2 is our hometown. We need to make G2 better. What do you mean, feed the hungry people? My children have been starving. They will be grateful to you forever. Thank you for your contribution to G2 District. What? Bad end. At, Why am I the only person in the promo channel? Thanks though, Eliza. Okay. Interesting. I wanna get the other endings. I'm gonna go look at the walkthrough now. What ending did you get? Yo. Hey. Good to see that you're doing fine. As you can see, I'm very fucked. What a waste. I didn't even finish my intestines. But it's okay. This doesn't need to happen to you. The thing is, Albert seems to be using dream therapy as a way to find a certain type of people. So maybe get all the questions right. Be as obedient as possible, don't question him. Maybe that way you can save yourself from getting the same fate as I do. Why don't you go ahead and find out? What the? This is weirdly, like, comforting. Oh. Well, I know I got one of, 3 endings. Oh. Okay. I didn't know you could flip the fucking drawings. I can't. How do you get... How the fuck do you get the balls right? Play. Alright, come on. Alright. Ah! How'd you even get the balls right? I don't even remember. I don't remember! Do I know this guy? He looks familiar. Where the hell am I? Welcome to Kruger Health Solutions Corporation. We are the largest... Okay, I already read this part. Okay, Gerald. What? I'm not sick. Skip? Yes. Why? I already... What? What the fuck? What does that mean? Oh, he's changed his dialogue. No, if I have to say, you resemble a jellyfish more. Albert, let me skip the dialogue. I already talked to you before. Before we start our session, I'd like to go over your basic information. What is your name, my child? My child? Bro. Taylor Lee. 19. They/them. What brings you here today and what are your symptoms? I said I'm not sick. Very well. He took away my skip button, bitch ass. No, I do not. Oh. Oh. It's okay. I got the maths right the first time. 16. 9 plus 8. Oh, okay. 17. Shut up. 8 plus 3 is 11. 8 times 1 is 8, Albert. Stop. You know what kind of voice I imagine him with? Like the French guy from Hero Academia. 5. 7 minus 1 is 6. 12. He just keeps saying random French words. $14, Albert. Oh, they are? Are they all French? Who's all French? Who's French? I need to know. I fucking knew it. Of course he'd be French. Just Vincent? Is it just Vincent? I don't have brain cells, Albert. It doesn't matter. How the fuck will I get the balls correct? Romeo! Wait, what? How did you... Oh, you're from G2 as well? Oh. Oh, not the loop. Alright, break's over. Let's move on to the next section of our therapy, shall we? Okay. The shell game? No, not really. There's cops and balls. I suck at that game. Whatever you say. As you can see, I have 3 cups over here. Please get a normal ball. 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 Please have a normal ball. Please have a normal ball. What the fuck was that? This is a waste of time. Right, it was here. Answer my question. Alright, okay. This one. Did it. This one. This one. Alright, I'm gonna fail the next one. Oh, fuck! This one. Shit! Load. Load. I don't care about the correct answer. Albert, you're so cringe. Amazing. It's okay. What? Ah! Big balls, big balls, big balls, big balls. I'm gonna roll. Where's my dice? Where's my fucking dice? Oh, where's my dice? I don't know where they are. My desk is a mess. Where the fuck? Where the frick? I don't know. I have to crack open the big dice box. I'm gonna use the ones that Leaf gave me. I'm just gonna roll a d6. 1 to 2 is the first one, and 3 to 4 is the middle one, and whatever. You got it. Okay, time to sit down. If I get it wrong, I'll reload. Alright, this one. No way. No way. Okay, I didn't see that again. Fuck! Wait, what the hell's going on his desk? Why is he pixelated like that? Albert, are you okay? Alright, reload. Oh, sorry, my bad. I didn't mean to look. What? Can you do that again? I'm sorry. Fuck! Oh my god. I'm gonna cry. No, not the balls. I'm weak to visual movement, bro. Alright, here we go. What's he doing? Why's he got blue on him now? Oh, fuck, I didn't. I wasn't watching. I was trying to see what Albert looked like. Alright. No. No, Albert, don't do this to me. Please make it. I don't know. Thanks. Alright. Fuck! Which one is the next? Oh, okay, load. Yes. No, Albert, no. Albert, please be nice to me. Fuck. How do I skip the ball? So we're gonna be here for like an hour. Oh, I need help. Eliza. Eliza, help. Wait. Yeah, yeah. I'm not good at this. Why do you make why is there a part of the game that I'm weakest to? I'm not good at watching things move. No. uh, uh. What the fuck was that? Albert, why are you so good at shuffling these balls? Thank you. Is it this one? I don't know what right is, Eliza. Is it the one with on Albert's side or on Taylor's side? Did he even move? We're finally free! Hey, he's calling somebody. Pardon me? Albert Kruger speaking. How may I help you? This is me. I'm the person calling. I'm complaining right now. Another problem. Well, I'm sure you're competent enough to come up with a plan, am I correct? I'm also the telephone. William, I will kindly ask you not to dismember her. I'd prefer that we come up with a better plan before resolving into that. Now, please excuse me. I'm with a patient at the moment. I look like the telephone. Is everything okay? That sounds pretty serious. Thank you for your concern, Taylor. I appreciate it very much. However, there's no need to be worried. I'll have you know that our team is extremely well trained. Okay, that's good to know. By the way, your last name is Kruger, right? Alright. Alright, we are dear. Is that what you... Do you miss G4? Maybe, maybe not. G4 was a nice place. I say that's enough time for a short break. Shall we move on to the next section? Sure. Huh? What kind of questions? I don't trust this man. Alright, come on. I know what I'm gonna answer. Like this. Yo, this kind of makes banger music. God damn, Albert. Is that a dog? What the hell were all these noises? Imagine being an only child. No. No. Okay. Why is he blending into the background? Bum, 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 bum. Albert, you shouldn't take in drunk people. I know. Ah! Cat. Cat the. Oh. What is this? Power Rangers. Nice. I love white noise. It's a man. A man with a ruffled collar. Another man. A trash can. Ah, Albert. Yeah, I know, right? This is a bit weird. And I kind of didn't want to see it, but... No, it wasn't. It was something way fucked up than that. My apologies. I might have put on the wrong video. Anyways, are we ready for the next round of therapy? The rusher... I almost got this ending. If I didn't fail at the cups. But I suck at cups. I don't see how this would be a bear. But... no lobster. Mata. This is bear. Leaf. OMG, bay leaf. Interesting choice. I don't think it's any of these, I'm not gonna lie to you, but it does look like there's some elephants in the background. Well done, Taylor. Well done. I am so proud of you. I hate to say this, but we're getting close to the end of our therapy. I just want to say I really enjoy. I know, right? We could do it. And I really, but it was also a very interesting session for me. Favorite section? They were all pretty cool, I guess. Sure. Thanks a lot. That was a big help. Before I let you go, can I have one last request? Dream Eater. A what? I don't want to become a Baku. Albert. Huh? What is a Dream Eater? They're my servants. Are you a Baku? Very, very loyal servants. They all used to be good kids, just like you. Congratulations, Taylor. You should feel proud. They all just look like variations of the mask guy from Mononoke Spirited Away. But I don't want. It is only because of the dream therapy that I get to know wonderful people like you. We need you to build a better future of G2 District. We need you to join the army. I don't like Albert, I'm against militaries. Thank you for your contribution to G2 District. Bad, true, and 2 out of 3. Alright. Okay, I just gotta fuck it all up. Let's go. Come on, Albert. Alright, you gotta help me get this wrong. I'm gonna accidentally get something right, maybe. Credits, hurry up! Yo. Self-portrait. Hey, babe. Hey, man. Ooh. My god. Alright, play. Ta-ta. Ah! Why did they flashbang me like this? Wait, what was it? I close my eyes, then I drift away into the magic night. I softly say a silent prayer like dreamers do. Oh no. Then I fall asleep to dreams, my dreams of you. In dreams I walk with you. In dreams I talk to you. In dreams you're mine all of the time. In dreams you're mine all of the time. We're together in dreams. In dreams. Alright, are you done, Albert? Thanks, man. Do I know this guy? He looks familiar. Where the hell am I? What? I'm not sick. What the hell is a dream therapy? Sounds like a scam. It does not matter. We are all creatures. I said I'm not sick. No. Okay, I'm gonna have to try hard to not get this right. Alright, let's get started. Surely it's 2. 4. 1. 3. Surely it's 5. You must be talented at something else. My teachers, when they watch me try to do algebra. 9. 6. 5. 6. 5. Sure, it's 5. This isn't your strong suit, is it? Sure. I have to reload if I get something right? So how's it going, huh? How are you feeling? Everything alright? I'm a bit confused, but otherwise all good. How's school? Pretty much the same. I don't want to find his balls, Eliza. I'm not... not into whatever this is. Yeah, both of those. What? Just what the hell is going on? Why do I feel like I've been through this so many times? It looks like the fake candy that you would get for Halloween. Ah. Ah. Okay. Oh, I was like so scared that I would get it right. Okay. Shit! No, 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 no. This one. And this one. And this one. Shit! Albert! Okay, thanks. Why? Why can't I ambiguously get it wrong? Why can't I get some right and some wrong? Um... What the hell even happened? What was that? How would I even guess that? I see that it was a bit too difficult for you, but no need to worry, it's not a big deal. Let's take another break, shall we? Sure. Ah, why is it so hard to not find balls? What is the plan this time? No, William, do not put the baby into the washing machine. Whose baby are you putting in the washing machine? Elle? They're putting Elle in the washing machine. Oh, goodbye, Elle. No. And no. I know my answers, Albert. It's okay. It was also quite ordinary. I see. Yes. Yeah. Time to see what I don't want to see. His gay ass. Alright, let's go. Whose dog is that? Yes. What the fuck was that? No, but what the actual fuck was that thing? No, I swear to God. No. Excuse me? Of course not. This is all messed up. Have you? I personally take a dislike to hamburgers, so no. That's not. I'm feeling really uneasy. Should I open my eyes? Yes. Okay. My apologies, Taylor. I was getting too excited to hear your answers that I came a bit too close. What the fuck, Albert? I wouldn't call that a bit too close, but whatever. Shall we take another break? Let me make the music louder. I hate the fact that you can tell when I start to slouch. Albert, please don't kill him. Alright, let's see. Holy shit. Yo! Yo! Yo, it's not even October yet. Hello again, Taylor. I hope you enjoyed the video. What was that video all about? Dancing skeletons. Did you not enjoy it? I guess it was cute. Did things get resolved with that dude? Yes, resolved. Peacefully. That's good? Are we ready for the next round of therapy? Yes, sure. This section is going to be a lot more fun than the previous ones. Have you by any chance heard of the I don't know. Do you know how to pronounce this? Cause I don't. What? I always wonder what's going on the back of those ink blots. Yeah, crystal clear. Alright, here we go. Why did you flip the paper, Taylor? Bear! Oh, there's no bear option. Crab! Here, there's a crab here, and then I'm here. This is more like lobster-esque, but we'll go with muffed. Oh, this is very moth-core. Oh, I forgot to flip this one. Load? Oh, okay. I did! Where's the bear option? I don't... Lisa. Is there a lobster? No. Fuck. Hmm. There's nothing bare about this, but what? Fish. Leaf. Face. Human. Human. Damn, cool drawing you got there. Didn't know that you were an artist as well. Who is that? Why did you do that, Taylor? That wasn't very nice. Huh? Do what? I'm quite confident that you know exactly what I'm referring to. Why did the background music suddenly change? Is it meant to crash? Okay. Alright, open up. Albert! Albert! What? What the hell just happened? I apologize for my sudden outburst, Taylor. That was very rude of me. Don't worry about it. As an apology, I will answer your question. That was a classmate of mine from college. He's married now and has a child. Oh! Were you guys friends? Is that why you were drawing him? You guys look kind of similar as well. In fact, it is quite the opposite. We were arch enemies. Arch enemies? Why is that? No specific reason. Probably because we looked similar and we're both very competent people. I know! So people love to compare us to each other. Albert, why are you, a man, drawing another man? Really? I don't know about that. I was the best student in the class. He was the second. He always tried very hard to beat me in school, but he never... Is this true? Chat, is this true? Is he lying? I like the immediate assumption is it was Albert lying. Did you like him? I guess you could say I admired and despised him at the same time. He had a lot of potential to be better than me, yet I witnessed him let them go to waste. You enjoyed feeling superior to him, didn't you? I wouldn't put it that way. Then let me put it this way. You enjoyed the fact that he always saw you as his goal, and you felt amazing because of that. Damn, Taylor should get into psychology, goddamn. You miss him, don't you? And all your friends from G4. That is absurd, Taylor. Bullshit. Or why else would you draw him? I know artists only draw things they like. I know what you are, Albert. Gay! It must be hard going to a foreign district by yourself to pursue education. But what's even harder is you have to say goodbye to all your friends after graduation. Why don't you give them a call sometimes? I'll think about it. Sorry to say this, but it looks like I'll have to end their therapy early, Taylor. Oh, that's fine. I just want to say I really enjoyed speaking to you. And it's been a while since I met someone like you, Taylor. Someone like me. Yes, rebellious, full of energy, no fear in your heart. But most importantly, you try very hard to give me a hard time. I guess I'm flattered. I hope we can become friends. Maybe we can write letters to each other. People don't write letters anymore. That's a shame. I guess I'll just figure out some other way. Just give me your number, Albert. God damn it. Before I let you go, can I have one last request? Sure. What is it? Would you mind filling out this post-therapy? Forget about it. Goodbye, Taylor. I hope we can stay in touch. Oh. Huh? This is my desktop. Was that just a dream? What's this text file on my desktop? Good end. True end. Yippee! Yeah, I'm finally free. Okay, time to end stream. No. Okay, it's time to draw a game, man. I know! I'm waiting! Oh. Hello? It's been a while, Vincent. Oh! Holy shit. Dear Taylor, how are you doing? I called my arch enemy today. He seems to be doing fine. Would you like to meet up sometime? I have a cool therapy idea to show you. All the best, Dr. Kruger. Albert, just give me your fucking number! What's wrong with this guy? I don't have to set up my tablet. I have to put away the D6 that Leaf gave me. To draw a game and... Oh shit. Oh fuck, I reloaded everything. Okay, pop up. Actually, hold on. No, not that one. Where's OBS? Oh. I forgot this still existed. Yes. I forgot to fix this. And this one. Ito. Oh my god. Oh, I'd be upset. Please, Albert. I would not see your email. Oh shit. Where the fuck? Where did I leave my glove? Oh, there. Okay. That would be horrible. Where's paint? Oh, there. Disappear. New. Viti. Som. Slash. Toi. Deck. Alright. Okay. Own. I have to change tags. Art. Why was it tagged for sexual content when I saw nothing the entire time? Alright, ito. Shut up, game capture. Alright. I just realized I'm very close to the screen. Oh well, that's funny. And oh, am I gonna load? I'm loading. Oh no, I'm still default. Hold on. You can watch me. Ito. Set Okay. You can watch me customize myself, I guess. Create new expression. Select I call myself okay. Alright. Okay. Wait. Hey. Right, that one. And then... God, I have to remember. Shit. Oh, wait. I'll know because he'll turn the color. Oh my god. I'm so smart. Hehehehe. Like this. I don't even know if this is the right length. Oh, I forgot how patchy this is. Oh well. Big. I don't have hair clips. This is the wrong one. Huh? 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 Why is it the wrong one? Which one did I use? This looks right though. Ha! Oh well. Damn. Everything looks all fucked up. Fuck, I don't know. Me. Hey. Alright. Oh, yeah. Yeah. And you're right. Yeah. Okay. Hey. Ignore the patchiness. Okay? Yeah. Ignore it, okay? Alright. Time to draw game man. Chato. Oh. Goddamn. You're so lucky I can't frown. I didn't even get to talk about that. The therapist just talked about his own ex. It was kind of weird. Oh, I have to get rid of him. All right, there we go. This is the right one. Surely it is. Hold on. Ito. Not this one. This one. Ah! Where the fuck did I go? Hey. Mouse. I have both X, right? I guess the question is more this. Okay, never mind. We're all good. Alright. Okay. Too big. It's crazy out here, bro. Alright. What should we talk about? Where's my No, not my Discord. Ito. Let me show you my Spotify. It's behind me. Good God. Alright, I'll put it here. Alright. Okay. Alright. First things first, I guess you should draw my favorite thing about those games. Give me a second. I need to pull that. Ito? I'm sorry if the window seems small. I'm trying to pull up my reference photo. Alright. Okay. Alright, back to normal. I think it was like this. Why are their hair like that? Honestly speaking, why? As a person of the arts, I appreciate the style. I find it very difficult to replicate. It gives very strong 2000s vibes. Ito. Why is on-screen chat like in the past? Huh? I know what to do. I fixed it. Stop freezing! You know what's crazy? My OBS just was like, hey girl, you're overloading your PC. And I'm like, girl, I'm only drawing. I know, right? OBS, I haven't done shit, bro. Literally doing nothing right now. I'm just adjusting stuff. Right. Okay. Okay. I'll close everything else then. I'll just close my browser because I can look at chat here anyway, so it should be fine. Stop it! Right. I'm not gonna lie though, it was very pleasant to talk to Albert. The mini games were too hard. I'm not smart enough. Hold on. Why does Draco not have any ear piercings? That's so sad. Hot. I wouldn't go that far. He's like a boy failure. Oh, no, he's like a cringe fail uncle, more like. Immediate shutdown. He's more like my weird uncle, honestly. Especially considering that the MC that we played with is like almost half his age. Am I wrong though? Maybe big girls, he stares at me when I open my PC. Albert, I know, right? The fact that he has to ask a totally normal college student for help is like saying a lot. He's like my cringeville uncle slash older cousin kind of vibe. That's the vibes he has. I should have drawn the facial features on the fucking another layer, but oh well. I like to make things difficult for myself. Should be more cat-like. It looks a bit too sleazy. Yeah, I still look like that that cat with like a very gentle, like worried face. That's how I imagine Draco. And Vincent is the cat that, oh no, Albert is the cat with the knife pointed at it. Do you guys want to hop on Discord? I can set it up so you show up. We can have a totally normal conversation, but it's just in stream. Oh fuck, it went away. Oh, someone is in. Oh, Azra. Oh, there are people. No, never mind. I would only join with explicit permission from everyone in that VC. I'm not gonna lie to you. Does he have an ahegao? Oh, not ahegao. ahoge. Yeah. Hold on, I have to find my fucking. I bought the art book. Where is he? My little guy. Oh, he does. What a stupid hairstyle you have. Kenomachi saen utakata no. No, not the mullet. He deserves more. Alright. Did you get permission from everyone? Cat box. Alright, I'm gonna join. Alright. Kakugoshi. Hello?
Oh my god. Hi.
Hold on. We need to adjust all the sounds on Discord. Well, not on Discord, on OBS. It's not even appearing. Discord hates me. Alright. Can someone play a soundboard or say something? Okay.
Wow.
No, that was loud. Okay. Try that. Can we try that again?
Hello.
Yep, we're good. Okay. My fingers, they're behind my Spotify. Got a lot of people. It's me.
Oh my god, of
And
course
a
my
friend.
audio sounds scuffed.
I mean scuffed.
Hi, chat. Oh.
Look, you're here now.
Hello.
Am I not working?
Ow.
No, I am. Sorry.
Make sure you mute the stream.
It's us.
It is you. Right. I lost the drawing. Right. So what was the topic? My boy failure uncle. Yeah, that is my thoughts on Albert. Do you want my thoughts on
Albert.
all of the characters?
Alright, sure.
Alright, let's go down the list. First one, we meet Victor. He seems like he's like the guy that everyone is like, oh my god, they're so nice. And then when you actually talk to them, you might get like a weird, like a sus feeling about them. They might be the imposter. Is how I feel.
Among Us sound.
Yeah, Among Us. Yeah, literally.
Yeah.
Who's the next character that we see? Vincent?
Yeah. The
Vincent?
fucking McDonald's man.
The McDonald man, he gives off like very strong like parent who wants you to live out their dream life kind of energy. Either because his parents
He's
were like
like-
that or because he is like that.
He's like the Asian kid, but also like
Yeah, he gives off very
Ch-
strong Asian
like, you know,
child.
always has to be perfect in everything.
Yeah.
And he's also an only child, so that's funny.
Because he became he's not actually, he doesn't have a sibling, he has a son.
Yeah.
I'm sure Azra is enjoying all this sudden information. If they're even
Yeah.
here.
Also, I hope you do.
Who do you want me to
I
draw?
think Aster might be going to work. So.
Oh, okay, that's alright.
Will you?
Where I lost him. Where is he? Where did he go? Neck. Alright.
Where did he go?
It's just like the fucking ending of I almost called him Victor. Vincent's route.
Every time I play that game, and every time or introduce the game to someone,
They're
all
like,
my friends are always like, Draco, no!
yeah, cause he's a good boy.
Even though we know he's a dead.
No, I didn't. I didn't know that.
Well, you saw the like secret bit at the end there, where like I think the Chaser and the Infiltrator were talking about like, oh yeah, Fenora can see possible futures or whatever, and then like the whole thing goes back in time to the first time where you meet Draco, and going to like a different branch, which is like Victor's branch.
You know what I should do? Draw Vicky-sam as the mooncake cats from HSR.
Yeah.
I need a reference. Give me a second.
Yeah.
I have to open my
I think
browser.
my friends were like asking
Stream
me to,
might crash.
asking me to write like was it a Hayscar catfic again, but as just like Kate cats from Star Rail. And I was like, why? Because. And I said, alright, bet. So I probably had to make another AU. If we.
I think
need to finish that one
Hazel would be red bean flavored.
Ooh, red bean, and then I think my friend who draw Hazel as a cake was like has fried food in it. I don't remember which one it is. It just has fried on it. It's like Hazel likes fried things.
Nasty boy.
He wants his fried shrimp out of the air. He will marry you on the spot if you gave him an air fryer.
Oh god. R.I.P. Your boy has to invent air fryers.
Wow, Genshin Impact's very first air fryer. Crazy.
K-Vetch. World first.
What's the next person you saw?
I think it was Dino, no?
Draco.
Oh
Yeah, Dino.
Dino, isn't he just a self-insert?
Yeah, he sort of is, because he has the same face as the developers. And also totally doesn't look like Michael Myers. What? That'd be crazy.
No way. I don't know how to draw Manja, my god.
Also the fact he's part of the secret gang, which is ICIJ. I think I said that right. Which is kind of interesting. And also he has like the highest score out of like I think all of the 4, which is funny because he's a janitor.
Listen, he's a good janitor.
I also remember some. Okay, you wanna know some lore, like beta lore? Okay,
Yeah.
so okay, there was
What
a
kind
beta
of
game
cat
called
would Draco be? Sorry.
Draco would also be a tuxedo cat. Oh
You're
wait,
so
wait.
right.
There was like, what? Yeah, but also I remember someone, was it quote retweeting like a cat video where it's just like a black cat, but like with the orange cat's face, like a golden face.
Oh
And
yeah,
someone
he
tagged
would
it
be
as
like that,
Draco.
wouldn't he?
Yeah, because he's the son of Lakeworth. He does have Victor's nose.
Ah! And his eyes, but not the color.
Yeah, because Victor got rid of them after the. I think it was either the accident, maybe, because the accident kind of implies about like his prosthetics, sort of. Okay,
He's a
back to
tiny
Vincent.
cat because he's a baby.
Baby, little guy, scrunkly.
I don't know what
baby.
flavor he would be. Probably something, something tea or a sweet tea probably.
Yeah, definitely some sort of safety.
What patterns should
okay.
he have? Oh, I know. Just like oh fuck. No, I don't. I don't know anything. He looks traumatized. No. It's
Not wrong.
I'm sorry, honey. I don't know how to execute this thing. Oh, I know what to do. I need to add a highlight, but I'm just not doing it yet. Clean up.
Okay, Phantom. Okay, yeah, there's a beta game before BTC BT Psalm. It was called Vincent the Phantom. It was called Vincent the Phantom of G4, and it's an RPG Maker game. However, the game is not entirely translated. It's like in Chinese, and the dev chose not to translate it because it's like a beta game, and asked everyone to not like connect it to like the current lore of BT Song.
Yep.
Because
but you
a lot
can
of
still
things
use it
change
for
and stuff.
fan fiction.
So in the RPG Maker, I can tell you like the whole lore.
Yes.
It's like the same thing, sort of, but like a lot of differences. So basically you're Fenora and you're going over to Vincent's mansion. So basically kind of the beginning of the game. Yeah, pre-knockout amnesia.
Ah! Wait, hold on.
Hello, random.
Random, I'm streaming.
Yeah.
Okay, wait, Al, you should probably put that in status.
Yeah, you should put that. Oh yeah, we're gonna be on Twitch stream.
We are on the Twitch. You're on TV, honey. Should I put my link in? Okay, I'll put it in the chat. Oh well, I know how to. Why did I go to my browser for that? I know what the link is.
Random's been on TV before. Oh yeah, you used to stream on Twitch. I remember you told us that, Random. Yeah. Calling the Skull Room live on Twitch.
Live on Twitch. Alright. Why does the Draco cat look so traumatized? What did I do to him?
Maybe it's the eyes. Well,
that's what all the eyes look like.
Always... Yeah. So.
Unfortunately, I can't do anything about that. Hold on.
You just need to add life to his eyes or something.
He's like fucking... What is it called? Cross-eyed.
Something. Oh yeah, L's streaming their art in Discord.
Yes.
Ella is making their
VTuber model.
model.
Because they're supposed to stream today.
Yeah, you're supposed to stream today.
Shut up.
My boy is spacing out. Look at him. There's nothing in there. Hello? He's not thinking.
Me for real.
For real. Okay, so back to Vincent the Phantom G4
Yes.
lore. Oh yeah, I'm just explaining some lore to like Alec here. Might be kind of spoilers for like to Astra and Random, but like I'm kind of recapping the game, kinda, sort of. It's just in like beta lore.
It's a game I can't play because I don't speak Chinese or read Chinese.
I actually played that game before, even though I didn't understand the language, because I had to use what is it?
MTL?
Someone made like a Google Doc
Oh.
about translating like the dialogue and stuff and some stories. And however, they don't translate like some things, like for the quiz thing. And I was like confused, so I had to like brute force it. And Victor keeps killing me.
Dang.
Anyways, I died like 55 times in that game.
Mm.
Because there were so many death traps everywhere. It's like Witch's house.
Oh, really?
Yeah, there's like so many death traps. And I'm like, bro, why are so many? And Vince is like, ha ha ha, chuckles. And I went, fuck you, Vincent. And
Fuck
continue
you.
to die anyway.
Alright, here's my
Anyway,
personal
so yeah.
Draco interpretation coming up.
Oh, Draco.
He isn't
Baby boy.
thinking. All his thoughts are about Venora, and I'm upset about it
Oh.
as a hater. Personally, I am a hater.
Okay.
Listen,
It's
I
a
know that it's only a possibility. That doesn't mean shit. He still died, okay? It was real to me.
Don't worry, he won't die in Victor's route.
You don't know
maybe.
that!
Yeah, we don't know that.
The 4 viewers are also in this call.
True. Let's see, G4 lore. Fuck. Okay. So yeah, pre-amnesia knockout or whatever. Except Fenora did get knocked out or whatever. Instead, she was like investigating the mansion stuff, and the house was like entirely pink for some reason.
I wonder
It was
why. It
so
might be
pink.
because his favorite person in the entire world is pink.
Yeah, and then I go to like the other rooms or whatever, and there's Draco, obviously. You meet Draco first right away.
Oh
and
my
then,
god. Yippee.
I don't remember what changed from like the dialogues or his personality. What I remember is like he was flirty with Fenora, like sometimes.
Upset noises.
Alec wants to be Fenora so bad, bro.
No, I don't want to be her. I want to get rid of her. Evil.
I'm the protagonist now.
I gave you my name, and what did you do? You killed my favorite character.
Oh my god. And then afterwards you meet like Vincent upstairs or whatever, and you said you're investigating about like the fucking cases about the Myers Corporation. You know, same old stuff. So like both of you and so Fedora and Vincent both went together to investigate the place. Which is kinda carry over to like the visual novel, but it's only like the last part of like his route. So you go over there and you meet Dino. Yippee! The janitor.
Yippee.
Yay. I'm gonna try. I will try to remember some things, but like all I remember is dying in that game because this game has a lot of death traps.
Oh, yeah?
So, so you try to go to the center, and there's this little girl named Vivian. She's
What
a
the fuck?
character, apparently.
Where did that
I
come
don't know.
from?
I
Where-
don't know.
Where does Victor come in? When does Victor come in?
Later.
What the fuck? You went through all of
Okay,
that
so this is-
without the second most important character?
I wish I knew. So you meet this little ghost girl named Vivian or whatever, and she asks you to like to find her parents or whatever. But obviously her parents are dead. So you go ask Dino. He's like, "Oh, you should go find like the robot room with like the arms or whatever." And you're like, "Okay." And you go to the room and you see a robot. It's
That
just like,
doesn't feel
I'm gonna
safe.
chase you down. Yeah, and you obviously try to juke that guy. Obviously, totally not failing.
Oh, I gotta follow, guys, from Random Furry 6960.
Called out.
Thank you!
Not
Not the personal call out.
yay, more followers.
We can finally get one day get, what is it? VIP.
And then, afterwards, you found like her parents' arms or whatever. Oh yeah, there's like fucking 4 robots with different arms, and one robot looks like a cat. And I went,
Yo.
Faye.
Bayleaf.
Oh, is
Bayleaf bot.
the cat in the main game reference to that?
Yeah. I think they just like reused some of the robots to go to like the main game. I think, because that's what I remember. Anyways, I thought to myself, oh god, I hope the freaking cat robot Faye isn't this girl's parent or whatever. And apparently,
Oh no, suddenly
isn't-
Bay is a parent.
Again.
Again.
And then we went over the little girl. Obviously, I had to retry again because I don't remember which arms. And apparently, Faye isn't the mom. So we had to choose a different arm instead.
Oh, thank God.
So yay. And then we just move on. I don't know what happened. I don't know if we met Salmona first or Victor. I think I have the document actually, because it kind of translates some of the stories and the order.
I think Simona.
Yeah, in the new
it
girl
Simona?
game, it's someone now, so I don't know.
Let me see. Where the fuck did I leave my stupid...
Because I remember
Okay,
Victor
so-
coming in much later.
Yeah, he came in much later, I think. Apparently he was an important character.
Shit! Like, Vincent's entire character revolves around him. How is he not an important character? I guess to
Beta
Venora,
is very
maybe.
fun. True. Oh shit! Oh yeah, there's like trigger warnings in the fucking beta. Some reason. There's like
Oh.
religious themes, violence, death, slight out. How the fuck did I say this? Classism and then ableism. Like slight.
I mean, it's better to
It's-
warn just in case. I suppose.
Yeah. I remember some of the dialogue anyway, so.
Was it rough?
Kind of rough because then again it was like in Chinese, so
Oof.
the dialogue might be rough. Confronted by Draco.
I think it has to be angled a bit more.
Blah 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 philosophy. Yeah. Cats. EP, blah blah blah. What the fuck is?
I saw
see.
someone from the server talk about Victor's
You
outfit
hear a loud
from.
crash or whatever, and Dina said,
Oh.
"Doesn't know. It comes from the basement."
I saw someone from the server talk about Victor's
From like
college
the college
outfit.
days.
Yeah. What does it look like? I'm very curious.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
I should probably be neater.
From like the G4 cave? Wait, do I have the screenshot of the fucking thing? Wait, no, I remember. Wait, hold on. I could just look up the MSTV group chat because I think I remember Al posting there and go like, "Oh, spoilers."
Oh yeah.
Let me look it up. Shit. Fuck. Oh no.
Should I just draw my
Is
baby
it college?
girls?
I think maybe. You have the freedom to do art.
I do. Tragically. Unfortunately, yeah, I do.
Anyways, you decide to. I'm gonna explain the lore bit while trying to find the fucking.
This
stupid
is Yu's
college
song
picture.
from
Oh, I found it. It's loading though.
Oh, you did. Yippee!
Yeah, because I remembered what day I sent it, but it's taking forever to load. There we go.
Oh, I want to see this.
Yippee! Victor's college outfit in G4 was so dumb.
What was it?
Oh, why didn't it? A copy image
I'm now both scared
There you go.
and excited.
at Alec. Look at this.
It's not. Why is the file so heavy? I'm still loading. I expected it to just appear. Why is the file so heavy? What is wrong?
Oh, there it is.
Hey yo.
Maybe if I take a screenshot instead of copying the image.
Hey yo, that's I love.
Yeah.
What the fuck? That's what I would imagine Draco would wear if he had freedom to wear not just a fucking suit.
True.
Is that one?
Oh yeah, he has a different
Nope,
cat.
Don't they have three cats?
Loads. Okay, so technically they kind of changed that. So in the G4, they only have one cat together, which is the white cat with sunglasses. And in the final visual novel game, they had 3 cats instead. So they went from 1 to 3.
God damn!
Birth.
Who gave birth?
This is like Victor's outfit.
Is that what happened? Is that the result of Victor's outfit?
He looks cute. He looks like a nerd boy.
He looks very soft. You know what they look like?
Oh no.
They look like conservative parents.
Stop! Shut up!
Not the Karens.
Not the fucking. Cause that makes sense about Draco and why he turned out like that.
Yeah. A lot of things are making sense now.
In that
Yeah,
case,
my-
it. Never mind.
What?
Oh!
What?
L?
No, nothing.
What do you mean? What are you trying to say here?
Literally nothing.
Rose says not to worry about it.
Bro,
Don't
I'm
worry
so
about it.
worried. I don't know. I don't know about this hairstyle. It's because his parents give off such nerd energy. I can't give him any more than this.
He's just baby boy now. He's
Yeah, I mean, the original Draco still looks a bit cat-ish, so...
yeah. Alright, let's see if I'm and then Phantom G lore. Pog lore. Is that what's the acronym called? Hold on. Wait, hold on.
Pog?
Hold on.
I can
Phantom
change his
of
eyes so
the-
he looks a bit less kind. He should
Yeah.
take after his parents equally.
Oh yeah, the acronym of the beta game would be POG. Oh my god, wait. No.
Wait, hold on. You know how straight parents make gay children? Well, these guys are gay and they made a straight child.
And tragic.
Because him and Venora.
Tragedy. Why can't you?
Tragedy. Do you remember that one Minx clip where like where her and her girlfriend or like and somebody asked him what happens if your kids are not straight or whatever? I think was it it was Minx.
Minx?
Not the Minx from like not like the one we knew from Schlatt or whatever. The RPG Minx. Purple hair.
Oh. Yeah, I know.
Very yeah.
I was like,
I think there was like
no way. I don't think Minx has ever scored anyone.
True. Let's see here. Pog lore.
No way. Not
Okay,
Pog
so-
lore.
Okay, investigating some rooms. If you go to the mail stall, you will see Dino in there whistling, and he'll ask you why you, Fenora, a woman, are in the men's room. And she says, "Oh, I'm an investigator." And I'm
Why
allowed
not,
to open
bro? Huh?
stalls.
Why are you judging
Yeah,
me by my presented gender, huh?
True. And then, if you chose to go to the women's restroom, Vincent will say, "This is the ladies' room. I'll just wait for you by the door." And you
So
and Fenora's like,
Vincent
"No."
will let us walk into the men's room, but he won't walk into the women's room. Bro, get yourself together. Come on.
And then, like, Fenora's like, "No, you come along with me." And he's like, "Why? No, fuck off."
It's
And
okay. We know you're
Fenora-
gay. Don't worry about it.
Yeah, don't worry. And then you tell him this in order, whatever. And then Vincent asks you, "You're actually the investigator of the G4 team, right?" And you're just like, you told him the truth about, like, because Fenora's parents received prosthetics from the Myers Corporation and yet mysteriously died. And you feel like your deaths are connected to the disappearances in G4 district. So, you ask Vincent to forgive you for concealing the truth or whatever. So that's like the reason, I guess.
What outfit should I give this Draco? Should I give him the weird old outfit that
Victor.
yeah.
Victor's college outfit.
Or you can give him the the also other college Victor's outfit in the recent game.
Oh my
For
god.
the-
Holy shit. That outfit was that was good.
You know you want. Yeah, I love the thigh belt so much.
I hope that one day it almost broke his balls. It would have been really funny.
You can't just say that to me. We can't keep losing so many balls.
Listen, There's a
Yeah.
fate amongst them. Alright. I have to remember what he. I have to pull up my screenshots. What the fuck? Alright, it's over here.
What is that?
It's on the other side. I fucking go to
Yippee.
chapter 4. Where is it?
Yippee.
Wrong chapter. It's in chapter 3. Never mind. I trolled myself. It's in chapter 4.
Anyways, you go to the bathroom. You see a cyborg with a party hat on in one of the stalls. And then it's just like, you close the stall door to leave, give it privacy. And then,
Damn.
who do we meet up?
This had to go
More
crazy, honestly.
stuff. Oh yeah, you find diaries. You know, RPG Maker classic style. Oh yeah, this is Victor's Blake's diary. Was it? On June 29, 2081. I couldn't believe the mental consciousness.
It's so
that Sarah was
funny
herself.
that the characters who were pixelated in their game have a reference sheet, but the visual novel characters don't.
Like, well, Vincent has one actually. He's like
yeah,
the
and only
one.
Vincent. I want to see Victor's outfits, all of them. he
I
fucking
think
slayed, bruh.
I think you can kind of see them in the art pack. I think.
You
Because there's, like,
can,
more
but it's
content.
like a little bit, still a bit cut off. I want the entire thing. I want to see the entire,
Yeah.
the maximum slay, if you will.
If he
I wonder if I can
I'm
find
pretty sure
that picture on Twitter. Hold on.
Oh no.
Alright.
I think there's also.
Okay, pray for me. I'm about to try and draw a leather jacket. Um,
No, I'm not going to be able to find this.
Let's see here. Mental consciousness, blah blah blah. This really got me excited. No need to erase the memory as to be able to control the consciousness of the subject. Mechanical modification if you apply no requires the person's approval or permission. Analogy. Blah blah blah. Okay, Victor, whatever. Show me your other diary where you talk about Vincent a lot.
ew. Cringe.
Oh, you don't want to read that?
No, I don't want to read someone's yearning for like a 1,000 pages of yearning.
That's what fanfiction is for, baby.
Yeah.
1,000 pages of yearning and intrusive thoughts. Oh, found it. Sure.
Yay. Okay, let's see here. Some sort of Victor Blake, and then Fenora asks Vincent if Victor Blake is his colleague, quote unquote, and then Vincent answers, and Vincent answers, "Oh, I can't remember the existence of this person." Like,
Oh,
what? Do you hate his ass or something?
what's up, bro? Little bro, what did he do to you?
He didn't brush his teeth.
Oh no. He kissed him with morning breath. Sag.
Okay. Oh yeah, we meet Salmona first or whatever. She asked you to find her watch. I think. Yeah, her watch.
Oh,
The pipe bomb watch.
The pipe bomb.
not
That
the
ain't no
pipe.
watch, it's a pipe bomb.
Not the pipe bomb.
And then, okay, you found like 2 watches or whatever. One is a pink watch, and the other one is shaped like a pipe bomb. And if you gave her the pink watch, she will tell you that she isn't a sissy and will kill you.
What does that mean, girl?
I don't know.
Babe,
I
what?
guess that I think she's supposed to be saying like, oh, she's not girly or whatever. But they just
But
like
she's
say
pink.
like she Yeah, she is pink.
But not in her accessories. She prefers wearing a pipe bomb.
She likes metal.
Oh, you know.
Anyways, you gave her the right watch, and you were like, "Alright, cool, bye."
What the fuck? That's it?
And there's
Girl,
also-
I looked for your
Yeah.
stuff. Help me more. What the hell?
she teleported away.
What the fuck?
She's like that. She's like that meme from like that guy who just like looks around, pieces out.
I know. Why?
Oh yeah, there's French in the beta. There's like a lot more French words
Ugh.
because
I can't pronounce
This
French.
one-
It's too hard. Throw me
Same.
like Asian words. I might be able to pronounce it better.
the game is in Chinese.
I can't read opinion though. Tragedy, I know.
Okay,
Okay,
let's see
here
here.
you go.
Sons, minute.
He's a
Fuck, I
punk
can't see
like
this.
his father. I don't know who.
I'll see you
Personally
later, skater
speaking,
boy.
Eliza, who do you think is the mother between the two of them? Personal
Victor.
opinion.
Victor.
Wrong.
Victor.
It's
Vincent.
probably
Wait.
Vincent. He's the neglectful mother kind of type.
Yeah.
I'm glad you
Not
agree,
the-
El.
No, no. Are you guys okay?
Completely.
Yeah. Yeah, my parents are normal.
Oh my god. Next room will be a labyrinth or whatever. This is where I also died. Also, an ample will fall on your head or some reason.
Minecraft.
Hey, yo.
Anyway, oh yeah, then we meet Victor next.
Do either of his parents have
let's-
moles? No, they don't. They just
No.
have god awful goatees.
One has a goatee and the other one has a mullet.
Yeah. God awful. I'm gonna give him the scar. No, not the scar. He's a mouse.
Oh my god. Let's see
Lol.
here. The man, Victor. Let's see here. Vincent tells Victor to get out of here, and Victor is like, "Oh, come on, be nicer to me, please." And,
No.
And and then Victor's like, "All right, I'll let you pass through if you answer my riddles 3 or whatever the fuck."
What the hell?
And you had to read some books or whatever. And you had to read some books or whatever, and you had to answer it. However, they didn't translate that in the document,
Probably.
so
'cause
you
it's-
just kind of had to brute force your way. Yeah. Let's see here. Love. Oh yeah, Bruhi's corporation. That was the thing.
No. Oh, good.
Okay, yeah. Okay, if you get all of his answers correctly, questions correctly, I guess he'll step out of the way and let you pass through. And then if you chose to talk to him after he steps out of the doorway, he'll like teasily ask Vincent, "Huh? Are you that obsessed with me?" And then Vincent will not respond.
Who, Victor?
Yeah, Victor is like, "Why are you so obsessed with me, bro?"
Why are you, another man, stepping out to talk to another man? What are you gonna do? Make out? Huh?
True. And then there's the next puzzle room. Oh, I hate this fucking puzzle room. It's the fucking colors room. Okay, so like, there's like a poster that also says in French about the colors, like rouge, blue, and then the violet, and it's
Yeah.
like, which is, you know, I know my Crayola colors.
Ah, yes. The classic
You know you're
Crayola.
French in colors because you had Crayola.
Yeah. You know, that's the most useful thing
Yeah.
Crayola did for me.
Yeah.
I can guess what color, what but via context clues what a color is in another language.
We guess purple. Oh my god. Definitely not gray monoscale or whatever the fuck Draco is. You know what? Draco's favorite color would be blue.
Gay. I mean, what? No, actually, very straight of him. Is it baby? Is it the light blue? I bet it's the light blue.
Gay,
Yeah,
no
probably.
wait, straight.
So very straight. Probably like where is it? Like this color. Like it's not dark enough to be called like the here. No, actually lighter probably. Hold on. Like this or something, or this one. Those kind of blues.
Yeah.
Oh shit! Accidentally drew over what I already did. No, become big. Alright, I'm gonna color this. What color are his parents' eyes? Did they even have
One of them
colors?
is pink,
Gray.
one of them is
Well-
pink, and the other one is gray.
No,
Well,
their
actually,
eyes, they're both gray.
Yeah, they're both gray. And like in the before Vector got prosthetics. So they're fucking boring ass bitches.
Yeah, they're boring as white ass bitches. They could have at least the similar spies that that Albert has with his fucking magenta eyes. Magenta and blue. My bad.
Like bisexual eyes.
I know, right? Albert's bisexual eyes. Anyway.
Eliza, I need you to write that into a fan fiction. Just, I looked into his bisexual eyes.
Yeah, in your next
Oh my
quadrific for me,
God.
please.
Or he looked at me with those bisexual eyes.
Yeah, in your next
I am
quadrific, please write it down.
I'm not writing that in the angst one though. I'm not.
Why not? Just put it in the
Just casually
author's notes.
slice.
Put it in the author's notes. My friends forced me to write this, but I had to take it out for the angst.
I'll write a quadrific that's not the angst fic. I just need to come up with a fic idea. Wait, what is it called? You know what? I'll just have a fucking Drapel just having Albert calling Claude Pookie Bear and just end the day like that.
Oh no.
I would say I would write one, but I don't know enough about the
Yeah, me neither.
lore and stuff.
That's why I haven't written
So I would just
my,
write one that would just be cursed.
That's why I haven't written my Draco X Reader fic.
Oh yeah, I have to write that.
Yeah, when are you gonna do that, huh?
I'll figure it out. Just gotta. I either
But
had
don't
to think
you-
it's gonna be angst.
Don't you want him to be insane?
Me?
Never mind.
Insane? What?
Who
What?
do you want to be insane? Me? Cause I already am.
No, the Draco.
Yes.
Yandere?
We know what Alex into.
Yeah, definitely.
Shut up.
If you look at their Discord status,
Shut the hell up. Don't talk about my baby girl like that.
your baby girl has problems.
It's cute. I have bigger problems.
I can fix them. No, I can make it worse.
No. Actually, they can make me worse.
They can make me worse, and I'm okay with that.
And you know what? I find it funny, so let's keep going.
Wait, can we talk about that game in here? Yeah, we can talk about this game.
Yes, we
Uh,
can.
Because we're all adults here. because we're all adults.
Yeah,
Yeah,
there's no
Random's
more
an adult.
babies in the server. Sag.
Yeah, no, we're babies.
Poor Random just getting thrown into adult by us.
It's so
Okay, let's see,
funny.
that's-
I'm looking at, you know, the the photo I have that is the desktop, my desktop
Yeah,
of Draco. I'm just looking at that, like, aha, funny man.
just pets him on the screen with a mouse.
Listen, I can be more delusional. Wait.
I could give you. Didn't I retweet the Draco Smashy? Yeah, I did. Yeah,
You retweeted a lot of things, so I did.
Yeah, I did. For you, because you were
Thanks.
going through it.
Yeah, thank you. I was very grateful. He was very cute.
Because
Discord
of you.
load. You bitch.
Real.
Discord issues, so true.
Hold on, I'm actually gonna be right back.
No problem.
Okay.
Mm.
After doing puzzles and shit, you meet up with Winston Loomis. And
Oh,
if he's
we
dead.
actually get to talk. Oh, I was about to be like, we actually get to talk to him, because you don't get to talk to him in the current game. We just see him in
Wait, I actually. Technically, you kind of did in the beta, but then he just kind of died. Hi, Al.
Hi, welcome back.
Maybe now my
Anyway.
Discord will work.
You. Who knows? You might have to bring Riker out.
No, not Riker. He would probably be like British, but kind of pale.
British pale.
Listen,
Let's see.
their last name is like Edgeworth or
die.
something, isn't it? He would be fucking. It sounds like a white ass name.
Edgeworth. That's like. That's from like the Ace Attorney game.
Yeah.
Oh, that's okay, Random.
Don't worry about it. Don't focus on this conversation.
Yeah, don't worry about it. We're just doing lore shit. Well,
We're just saying shit at this point.
true. Let's see here. After Loomis died, Vincent disappeared, I guess.
Why?
I don't fucking know. He disappeared. And then you go investigate on your own.
Is Draco there?
Hold on. Oh yeah. Then after doing some puzzles or whatever, you meet up with Draco.
Oh. Yo.
Draco will be waiting for you in the room. He will act flirtatious towards you and comment on how it's fate that he and you meet in such desolated places.
Okay. Alright.
Vincent the Secret
Where
Admirer.
was this? Where was this in
Alright.
the visual novel?
You just confessed to each other on the elevator.
I don't think we did. Didn't feel
Kinda.
like it.
Oh yeah, random. We're talking about Vincent the Secret Admirer.
Send them the
And-
clip, the McDonald's clip.
Alright, bro. Oh, okay, where's my McDonald's clip? Hold on.
This is all the
Actually, no, I
context you
haven't
need. It's probably on your Twitter, no? I probably retweeted it. Let me just find it.
No, I always see my projects on my folders or something. Oh yeah, I did the Uppies one. Did I finish that one? Yeah, I did. Okay.
Oh yeah. Yeah, send me your PayPal or your Ko-fi, whichever one you prefer.
I'll send you my Ko-fi later. I just need to update it. My shit. Where's this? I think Elle's probably gonna find clips of me. No, you screaming.
I mean, I could.
Peace. What?
I have the McDonald's clip right here anyways.
I also have it
Here
just
you
on
go,
Twitch, so
random.
you could go through that if you wish. We are at peak viewership of 7. Why is people watching?
Wait, it's just people are really love the fucking.
I'm just trying like a
Goddamn,
weird, like,
you
stylized
people.
version of Draco. Hello everyone in the chat. You can say hi or
Ever-
not say anything. That both is good.
The 7 people, probably L's second account.
Yeah.
Oh,
The 7th
let me pull
person
it up.
actually disappeared.
They're coming
Oh, what
back.
did you do? No!
Oh, L, no, you deleted them.
Oh my god. My mods are too good at their job. They just fucking delete people. Holy shit.
With our mind.
Hey, don't eat them.
Stop it.
No, I can't. I don't even remember my clips either being edited or not, and I have to figure it out. Oh, this one has like dialogue. Oh yeah, this one has captions actually. Captions, I think. Okay. McDonald's clip, go. Please process, you son of a bitch, Discord.
McDonald's clip, go. McDonald's! I shouldn't be promoting it, but it's a funny comparison.
Don't worry, Vincent is a capitalist man.
Yeah, he is. That bitch. You know, there's. I
could make
actually
my
put
own
a skin
hamburger.
color on
Joke's
this
on you.
Draco. But you can't see it because it's almost the same color as the background. Here you go, you can see it a little now, probably.
Yippee.
Made his eyes turn kind of green. What the fuck?
Oh my god. Okay, let's see here. And okay, Parkour. When you ask him to answer your questions, and when Draco's doing here, he'll just flirt with you, I guess. Saying he doesn't mind if you use your beauty to get information out of him.
Okay.
Like charm, I guess. I don't know. And then Venora retorts back by asking Draco if he uses pretty boy charm if you were to arrest him for getting in the way.
He could use his pretty boy charm anytime. I'm normal.
He says that your words make him sad, but Draco says that your words makes him sad, but that would make him back down. And then Venora says that she's not interested.
No!
Oh my
I'm
God,
interested! I'm interested. Come back! Oh, I found the McDonald's clip on Twitter. Will it load? If it doesn't load in the next minute, I'm gonna send it in chat. Oh, there you... Oh, wait.
Why did not load properly? What happened to my bed? No. Anyways, just send the link instead.
Discord is just broken.
Did that work? No! Stop being a hater.
I think you need to use Fee instead because it's like video effects.
Fuck.
Which is like. I can copy it and then try to fix it.
V?
Yeah,
Did
V.
not do anything.
No, VX.
VX?
VX. No. Yeah. What am I doing?
Oh, there you go.
Okay, there you
I'll delete mine. Hold on. Okay, mine's gone.
Discord hates us, apparently.
It's really grumpy this morning.
Yeah. Just being a hater.
you ask Draco to help him, and he claims that, and Draco's like, oh, you should get information out of Vincent. What happened to my Discord embed? Hello? Did you just decide not to do it anymore? I guess it's probably because I have like what Alex stream open and Discord app open, and Discord's like, fuck you, die. Okay, and then Benora's like, no, you have to help me or whatever, and Draco's like, oh, I have never been afraid of such things, like, you know, being arrested. What does that mean, Draco? What does that mean?
What the fuck did he just say? He's like underage.
He doesn't mind. Well,
He's
well,
like
like
a baby.
I think he's. When was he made? When was he made? Hold on, wait.
Physically, probably an adult, but like, you know.
I wanna go find Draco's fucking birth year. Oh yeah, he's born on. What was he born on? He's born on either May 7th or was it May 15th?
Oh,
He was
I'm gonna put that in my
born
calendar. May 7th or 15th? Which one is the higher likelihood?
Just go
probably
comfortably
May
in
15th.
between.
No.
Which one, sir?
15th.
15th, okay.
I think that's probably how I remember it, because I remember some people posting art during around that time. And he was born in the year 2084, and this game takes place in 2087.
He's 3 years old.
3 years old and already working as a butler.
I know, right? He's
Child
a hardworking
labor,
boy. Child labor, real.
Just some tables or whatever. There's the car accident. Planned car accident that Vincent was involved in. Haha. Anyways, you go to the dresser drawers and you found a college picture of Victor Vincent in a white cap wearing sunglasses. Whoa.
Whoa.
And then Fenora assumes they have a very close relationship.
Damn, I wonder.
I know what you are.
I know what you are.
And then we say goodbye to Draco or whatever, and then
Why?
and you we gotta progress the story.
No, we don't.
After some puzzles or whatever,
Twitter
you're able
right
to
now.
help. And then you were able to meet up with Vincent, and then you were like, oh, I was able to solve the case. And then about the cyborg shit or whatever. And Vincent's like, oh, is that so?
Oh shit.
And then he turns around to face you, and apparently he's a cyborg. Half skin of his face is missing, blah blah blah, replaced by metal plates. He looks like a FNAF character. And then
I remember him coming in with a side profile, and I'm like, uh-oh, that can't be good.
Listen, it was better than the front.
True. And then Vincent's like, oh yeah, I know the real purpose of your trip, Lenora. Like, look at him, look at me. I'm the product of the Myers. See what have they done to me or whatever.
No.
And then
I'm blind.
And then Vincent will try to kill you, I guess, and run away.
Okay, bruh.
Okay, there's like
Bruh could have gotten
and there's,
pity
like, multiple-
points, and he's like instead murder.
Yeah. Oh yeah, there's like death endings or whatever. Death ending number 1. If you go to that room, where you will meet Draco again.
Yippee?
He's an Enderman, apparently.
Hey, yo.
He teleported. And then, Draco will greet you and ask if you will like a cocktail made by yours truly, claiming of the taste of it what the freshest ingredients can achieve. And Fenora declines him and tries to exit the room, but you're stopped by Vincent, who will teasily ask you why you're in such a hurry and tells you that you should stay for a cup of pig blood martini.
Yummy.
AK Draco's recipe can be a very unforgettable AK good, and then Vincent kills you. Yeah, Draco can make martinis now. Yay.
He's
You go
like
to
3 years old. What the hell? He should not be allowed to serve alcohol. Alright, who else should I should at least draw another VT Sum character. Give me a second. I've only drawn Draco the entire time.
If you keep drawing Draco, you'll get better at it. Trust me.
It's okay. I would only draw him anyway, in the normal circumstances.
Hell.
Anyway.
I guess.
Hello. Why are there? Hello, first time chatter random furry 6960. I'm sorry that I only saw it now.
Death ending number 2, you find a pool, and then Vincent just pushes you in the pool, and there's like cyborg piranhas, I guess. I don't know.
What the fuck, bro?
And they eat. I don't know, and they just eat you, and then some advertisement endings, which is funny. And you go to this one room with the computer monitor, and when you go read it, it's a text message between Vincent and Victor.
Ew! I don't want to. I don't want to see that.
I will read it out loud instead. Yippee. Victor, I need all the financial statements for his company in recent years. Wow, are you really getting into working so soon? I didn't really know what to say about what happened last night. Oh, you mean the smell of vomit in the middle of the night after hogging the toilet in the hotel?
What the fuck did they fuck?
Dude.
What's going on?
I don't fucking know. Probably.
I quickly became homophobic.
Yeah.
Hating on gay people became part of my lifestyle.
Anyways, Victor says, dude, that's totally... Imagine making out with someone and you just, afterwards, you just call them dude or bro.
Me
Me.
core.
I would.
Yeah, me too.
I have.
Oh no,
Lamo.
emoji. Maybe Discord is finicky. It's always finicky here. Okay, let's see here, Victor. Dude, you didn't even drink any of the wine. You wouldn't know how strong it was. Let's talk. You don't want our company funds to be vomited out like the wine you drank last night. Send me the information quickly. Yeah, Discord hates us. For real. Victor, you're so heartless, Vincent. Is this really how you treat your former college roommate? And then he sends an
They were roommates.
Oh my god, they were roommates.
Oh my god. And then Victor sends an attachment. Probably a picture of himself, nude. I don't know.
Spicy.
Ah.
Mm. Okay, calm down. Okay, let's see here. Vincent. Myers has so many nonsensical and inefficient employees like you. It's no wonder you're in this current predicament. Man, you really haven't changed at all. Like, okay, cool, bye. And then you try to get out of the room, and you'll be stopped by Victor, who tells you the road you're taking leads to nowhere, and then he kills you. He doesn't like seeing. He doesn't like seeing Venora getting into their gay text messages. Apparently.
I mean, I wouldn't either. I personally wouldn't want to see it either.
Yeah. Go to another room and you found a medical notice. Residential date of birth February 20th, 2054. Time of death 8:30 on April 30, 2081. Okay, yeah, the fucking April 30 question in the fucking visual novel was so stupid, but whatever. Cause of death, organ failure, interrational hemorrhage,
What?
Internal hemorrhage?
hemorrhage. Oh, I can't
I
read.
heard something else.
Hemorrhoids is what I heard, yeah.
Yeah.
Oh no, I can't read medical words. I can't.
Send
read.
it to me, I'll read them.
Hold on, I'll screenshot it.
Cause of
Wait, no,
death,
I just got-
hemorrhoids.
Oh god. That's awful.
Oh no,
Not the hemorrhoids.
Megan, Megan, you can't sit with us. Megan, I can't sit anywhere. I have
Hemorrhoids. Organ failure, intracranial hemorrhage, pulmonary hemorrhage leading to mechanical bursting.
Burst. What the fuck?
So it means I think pulmonary is within your heart, so his heart burst, I think.
That's gay.
Boy.
In the car, Eliza. Without Victor, I think it's a lot sadder than you think.
Maybe he was thinking about Victor when he died. You never know that.
That's... Okay.
Cause of death
Oh, you
being
know what
way
I
too
should...
gay.
You know what I should show? The VT... when I drew us as VT Selm.
Oh, I need to. Oh wait, never mind.
Where is it?
Lamau?
I once drew us as VT people, and it's gone.
No. Mid.
It crashed. On
It's gone
L.
forever.
Corrupted.
Nothing is loading on Discord.
I don't know
No,
what's
Discord is just very grumpy.
I could try to look on my phone, maybe. See if it works.
Oh, it's...
Wait, it didn't save. No, you fool.
It won't even open when I click open in
Save.
browser. I called it ET Sam. It was so funny. It's not loading. No.
Oh, it's not loading on my phone. Uh-oh. Discord might be broken. Uh-oh.
Discord is breaking, we think.
Man. Let's see here. If you go to the other room, you see an advertisement for an app game called Vincent's Amazing World of Scary Human Heads, which is a fishing game.
Man, I wish I could see ET Sam.
Eliza, I'm getting flashbacks to that one time when we had to DM on Twitter because Discord just died.
I'm seeing
Yeah.
all my
That's-
messages from L though.
That's what this is starting to turn into.
Oh, never mind. If
I
I
can see
scroll up too far, I won't see it.
I can see my messages clearly. I don't know why I could do that.
Just all the images are loading for me.
Yeah, they're loading. And when I try to open on my phone, it's just like dead immediately. Even the emotes.
Yeah.
I used Discord to send photos to myself. What the heck?
Me too.
Okay, anyway.
Okay, and then we'll try to exit the room, stop by Vincent.
You
And
know,
Bernard's like, okay.
college Victor gave very much like biker or like party boy vibes. But knowing that he was the head of finances, he was probably a huge fucking nerd.
Party person, I study at night.
I know. My guy was just saying, I'm gonna go out and party. He doesn't go to the party because he feels really guilty about chatting at the roommate who was very assholey to him that he just met.
Mance goes for a 5 a.m. walk. Nobody
And
comes home at
crying.
5 a.m. Crying the entire time. They're both pathetic.
I know, right? And Vincent is just like the entire time is just like, why isn't he coming home? And they've only met for like a few hours, and the entire time they were arguing. What the fuck?
True love, baby. Whoa, first love in sight.
That's just gay.
Yeah.
Shit.
Yeah, random. Discord isn't working for us either, apparently.
Discord isn't working for no one right now.
Fucking hell.
I have to send Iki some to myself on Twitter.
Discord's on break.
Real.
So true.
That's me.
Let's see
That's
here.
me.
Nora asked
Oh fuck, it's
Vincent
the wrong
DS.
tablet.
Because the real Vincent Edgeworth died a long time ago or whatever. And then Vincent laughs and says, "Who am I? Shouldn't you know better than anyone else?" And then he kills you.
Okay, Vincent.
Oh yes. I guess
Alright,
that'll be the
Grandpa,
plot.
let's get you to bed.
Well,
Alright, I have ET Sound on Twitter. Why do the GIFs load but not the images?
I know, right? What the fuck? Like, this is the only way to communicate, just like sending gifts.
Alright, here we go. If you want to send anything, you have to turn it into a GIF. There we go. ET Sound live on stream.
Hey,
Then
I recognize those folks, those
Yeah.
people,
What?
folks.
Yeah, it says Boopy at the top.
But
If anyone is curious, yes, that is what my handwriting looks like. I write like that normally. I dubbed the Bagnora. Oh fuck,
Help.
that's not how you spell it. I think this is just elusive Blake.
Moose. Yeah. Oh yeah. With yay. Oh no.
And then Liza Edgeworth. Your name is alliteration, Lamau. Oh, actually, no. I didn't call it Eliza. Eliza.
No way, I'm looking in our DMs for it.
Beep,
Hold
I
on.
am streaming, by the way.
Yeah, we're on Twitch. Yippee.
We are on the TV.
Who is streaming?
Alec.
Alec.
Me.
Give up your username.
It's the same as it always has been.
My brother in Christ. Clicks profile. Okay.
Oh wait.
Nothing is loading. I can't find it, Alec.
What
Yeah,
are
I
you
think
finding?
I'm trying to
Discord's
find-
online right now.
It is. I'm trying to find what you told me about this picture
It's okay.
because it was funny.
It's ALEKSIELIA.
I got it. I have followed.
Thank you. Oh, wait, let me check. Where's Twitch? At least Twitch is working. Hi, B Succulent. Thank you for the follow. Wait.
Talks about me as if I'm not here.
I did that too.
Damn.
I did that
callouts
to
at
random
once.
too. I didn't see theirs immediately because I was drawing.
It's dead. Discord is
Please
dead.
send. Please.
Yeah, Eliza Edgeworth.
Wow, it's double E's. What the fuck?
And this is Boopy.
Just Boopy.
Boopy can't be anyone else but Boopy, you know?
True.
Yeah. Boopy hasn't played this game, but they do know.
But they have what is it? What is it called when you take away someone's balls?
Oh,
Neutered?
Yeah, they have neutered Albert and Vincent
and Eliza.
and Eliza.
No.
Holy shit!
I come to make an
Interesting.
announcement.
I have no balls. Legit.
Sophie has took my.
I come to make an announcement. Boopy is a bitch ass motherfucker. They took my balls. That's right. I quoted that whole thing and we died laughing.
Should this be Victor or Vincent? I'm not drawing the arms. I can't be bothered to think of how it goes. He's sitting on something, probably like a rail.
with that gay ass pose, the pink one.
The pink one.
Victor, that's his name.
You played him. You're the pioneer of British Victor.
You made it.
I may have been his voice, but that doesn't mean I ever said his name.
Yeah, only Vincent gets to say his name.
Mr. Blake.
Mr. Blake.
Mr. Blake.
Wait, Alec, have I shown you what I drew?
Are you
of
gonna
British-
send it to me in Twitter?
Oh yeah, because Discord's dead, isn't it?
Beep. My favorite character is actually Meyer-chan.
The fucking clippy guy.
Yeah, he looks like he needs uppies.
Yeah, these.
Else there. Save.
Can't wait for the background noise just to be us. Okay, back to Poglore or whatever. Anyways, you escape Vincent into like the other room.
Oh, B
And
says in chat that they will be doing homework, but they will watch stream. Good luck.
Their notes.
Good luck.
They showed me their notes and they're really pretty. Like,
Yo,
they're all colorful and calligraphic and stuff.
I read.
Oh, yeah.
I read like a bastard. So, would you like me to write your name normally?
Yes, we would like to see that. My handwriting is worse though.
My handwriting is very. I have 3 different types.
Here you go.
I was never taught cursive at all.
It was the first thing I was taught. So, no, Discord isn't working at the moment. We don't know if it's been fixed.
Let's try to set an image there.
Alright,
I can send a meme. Hold on, maybe.
let's see if we can send emotes. No, we cannot. I don't think so.
Let me see if I can send this.
Oh, that is dead.
Alright, let's.
Oh! It's just like no emo. It's just like an error image.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's just like, no.
Yeah, it's me sending a heart.
Why did not? What? Hello, Discord.
Result for quiz, I give you a silly creature based. ... Image.
That's all we're gonna get.
Image.
Someday Discord will fix itself, but today, nope.
I would try to download it, but even the download link isn't loading.
Yeah, when I try and do that, it just says error.
Alright, I will take handwriting requests. What would you like me to write?
Come on, Discord, you old man. You better get back to bed.
Come on, Grandpa.
Oh no, my Discord is broken.
I shall take handwriting requests. What would you like me to write?
Draco.
Screaming.
Oh, okay, I can do that.
Someone ate Discord. No.
Here you go.
Thank you.
Me.
What was
Me
the
when I
second
wake
one?
up.
What was the second one? Was Draco?
Yeah.
So I'm going insane right
Screaming.
now.
I. And then share. Yeah, someone should share. Yeah, Discord should have. But fuck, I can't talk
And here's
anymore.
a
Damn it.
slower one.
Discord's breaking, Eliza's breaking.
Everything is broken. No, and then this is the normal-ish handwriting.
Hehe.
Discord.
And then capital letters. Fuck, I almost forgot how to write G as a capital letter. Let's go.
Yippee. Your pod will fuck. After you run away or whatever, this is like, do you really think I gave you the chance to escape or whatever? He chases you down, and then he got shot by someone.
Who said that? Vincent?
Yeah, Vincent. Vincent said that, and then he
What a
got
waste.
shot. And then the culprit of the shooting is no other than Dino.
Dino, no!
Not the janitor. I'm concealing a gun.
No!
And Dino asked you to kill Vincent, and then hands you a gun, saying
There you go.
that both Benora and Dino will be able to leave this place. And if you chose to spare Vincent, Dino will then just shoot you instead.
There you go.
And then he reveals that he thought Benora will be the company's new hope. And then Vincent asks Dino who he is, and Dino is actually the founder of the Myers Corporation.
He's Mr. Myers?
I don't know. Apparently in the beta, I guess. I don't know about the official one.
That's one hell of a self-insert.
Stop.
Even I don't self-insert myself like that in my own fix. Oh shit.
Yeah.
I have to turn the tablet.
Vincent is angry about it or whatever, and then Dino just kills Vincent somehow.
Albert Jarrell
actually, wait.
Kruger. Why?
Wait, actually, he doesn't kill Vincent. Before he could do that, he's being shot by Victor.
What the fuck? And here comes Victor Blake with a steel chair!
I was losing my fucking mind when I played this, and I think I showed it to Elle also. And we were just like losing our mind about like the stupid gunshot noises. Like, what the fuck is happening?
Hello, Zub! I am on Discord, the call. Welcome. We are just chatting, and I am not drawing.
Well,
Hello.
That's the zero body one is L, and Eliza is the other one.
I'm the cat girl from my favorite, well, also anime, Dungeon Meshi.
Beep boop. Robot.
Izumi, my favorite.
Hey,
famous
man.
chatting and not drawing.
Hey, Zub. Listen, I was drawing earlier, but not now. Look, I already drew three things. Look at this cat. Look at this traumatized cat.
Yeah, and it's the same person.
Yeah, my baby girl.
Look at this thing I drew. It's a traumatized cat.
Let's see here. After Victor shot Dino, I guess, coming in the steel chair.
I don't know. It just ended up like that.
And then Victor chases Vincent.
I didn't do anything. Ask his father, bro.
What?
Zub is asking me why the
Yeah.
cat is traumatized. Ask his father, not me.
Yeah, ask his somewhat British dad, also French, I guess. I don't.
What the fuck? That's the worst combo
French, British, New York.
ever. My guy is just every European ever.
Okay. After Victor teases Vincent and was like, "Hey, stop pretending to be hurt, lol." And then Vincent just gets up with these, I guess. And they make small talk about Dino or whatever. And Vincent
So
says that
is it Dino Myers?
No.
not really. It-
Well, his character
Well, like-
design, yes, but not the name.
yeah.
Mikael
there's, like,
Myers.
However, there's like speculations because we have Monsieur M and then Mr. Myers, and there's like sprite looks different because Monsieur M is a boy bitch, and then Mr. Myers
Yeah, his
is a
bunny
white
pictures are really cute. Personal fave.
Poor I was like giggling the entire time. Let's see here, and then Vincent says that they need to stay on their toes, and that Dino could be just a clone of some sort. Yay, the clone thing is back. Plot. Whoa.
Whoa.
Whoa, plot.
Is Draco also a clone in this one?
Technically, kinda, because
Eh.
because he has like Vincent's DNA, so like
Oh.
he just looks like him, kinda looks like him, and
What the
also
fuck
has
does that
Victor's
mean?
features. I don't fucking know. He just looks like him, and then also has Victor's features for some weird reason. I don't know.
That is a weird way to
okay.
have a child.
True. I think someone probably posted an art about it where like Draco comes out looking like Vincent and then asking Victor to like maybe to come up with like a new hairstyle or whatever, and Victor just gives him a new one instead, giving him that anime ass boy haircut.
Comes out. What, to his gay parents?
It was
Hey,
Victor who
gay
did it, I
parents,
think.
I'm straight. I'm sorry.
Wait, I don't remember what toggle it is.
But I'm gonna go back into the closet. No way. Yeah.
He doesn't have a closet. It's just not
Yeah.
there.
That's what I realized after I said it.
Yeah, there is no
Only-
closet.
Only street people only have dressers.
No.
Climbs out of the dresser drawer.
No. Anyway.
And then let's see here, Poglore. Victor asks about Fenora or whatever, and Vincent's like, "Oh yeah, Fenora seemed to be some sort of cipher created by the Underground Myers and Understand or whatever." And Vincent was like, "Oh yeah, Fenora will be very beneficial in his current cyborg production-related project." What the fuck? Okay, sure, whatever.
Okay.
In the other ending, if you choose to kill Vincent, Dino tells you that you've done a good job and you saved the facility. And then the real Vincent walks into the lobby
What?
with a live Winston Loomis. And
Vincent Edgeworth comes in with an even bigger steel chair? What?
apparently,
Why is your Fugi so big?
I have been changing it this entire time.
What is this Vinception? True, I don't know. This is like the beta version of the game that I played. And Eliza
this
is
is like-
explaining it to us because it's in Chinese and I cannot read Chinese.
yeah. And it's not connected to like the.
I
visual
thought
novel.
Eliza was cooking. No, Zoob. Unfortunately, it was the original plot. No cooking needed.
Yeah, and I'm trying to, what is it called? What's it called? It's like trying to figure out someone's recipe, you know? But it's just mostly like you can't read it.
Eliza
True.
got
And
the
you just-
measurements, but not the instructions. Alright, here you go.
Yeah.
I did it. It's Victor.
Hey yo. Man.
If I had a choice, it would be. Hold on, it's not on, so. Is
Yeah,
this
okay, you know what? Victor is hot actually. Fuck, I hate this.
like this?
God, he was
But
so
anyway.
hot all up fit.
I told you the fit was hot, okay?
True. Let's see.
Anything with leather just makes you sweat.
Yeah.
Don't wear it in the summer, kid.
just gives up. Yeah. This is like the kind
And
of
then-
pose where he would be like holding up a cigarette to his mouth, but instead he's a finance nerd, so he'd probably choke and die.
He does
He does smoke.
actually.
Oh, really? Oh, fuck.
Yeah.
Okay,
in
so yeah,
the-
he
in the
would do
first-
that, I guess.
He probably would
And the-
choke though, but he does smoke.
Yeah. In the first chapter, when you talk with Victor or whatever, he's holding like one of those like 1920s cigarette holders. Like,
Like
like
he
a
thinks
stick,
he's fancy
right?
or something.
yeah, and also has a red ribbon on it. Apparently, surely that
Cringe.
means fuck.
I like that Zoob just
Anyway.
thought this was Eliza's personal headcanons.
No. This is the actual plot.
Well, of the
If
beta.
I w- Ye. Let's see here. And then the true ending or whatever, good ending. Oh, you know. After they walk in the room, Loomis and Vincent seems to be working together to produce cyborgs or whatever. And Vincent comments on how the robot clone of himself was inferior, and tells Loomis that he has a lot of work to do with fixing the robot. And Loomis says it doesn't matter since they still have their secret weapon, Draco.
The flirty man.
and that's the
My baby
fucking
girl.
beta game. And that's the beta game. Okay.
That was a lot of fun when we played it together. Or you played
yeah,
it for me, actually.
Yeah, I play things for you, and you get into it because I'm funny.
She's the all-knowing about Vincent.
I know it's too much Vincent lore. I played this fucking game like times. Help me. When this game be out of hiatus? It's been like a year.
If someone really famous plays it, maybe.
Well, Manly played it.
Who?
Manly Badass Zero. He also played the therapy game also. But for some reason he didn't upload or play chapter 4, which is weird. He plays chapter 1, 2, and 3, but not 4. And I'm like, please. I wanna see the gay bitches. I wanna see Draco die.
What the fuck?
You can't say that around Alec or Bay, Eliza.
I know that. But I can anyways because I too was a Draco fan actually.
Was?
Like, well, kind of still am, but like, you know, because obviously my favorite type is butlers. If I read so much manhwas, and I just read manhwas. I can't remember.
Manhwas?
It's like, the Korean webcomics.
Yeah. You could just
And
call
I
them
read like
webtoons.
2. Yeah, webtoons. I read both, and they're both about how a love interest being a butler, and I was like, huh, I wonder if that means anything.
I hope this won't awaken anything in me, says Eliza, clicking on the link.
True. Alright, let's see what kind
Alright,
of about.
doing some light
yeah.
work for Victor Nation right now.
Yeah, you do look like a head of the car, Al.
Beep beep.
Motherfucker,
Damn, the plate
this-
number keeps disappearing.
Wait, hold on. That's my horn.
Why?
That sounds like Morse code.
Morse code. Guys, the plate number keeps disappearing. We need some help.
Can't catch me, please.
Outside of lore I can think of. Yeah, Morse code. Is there a Morse code? No. Okay. Okay,
I hate
Albert
his
lore.
stupid
Albert...
little goatee. But I must draw it because it's part of his fucking character.
I love
You know
that
No, you can go.
I love that when you drew me as him, you just taped the goatee onto my screen.
You're the one who suggested that.
You know what? When I say, I don't remember. I think Boopy said that like they don't like his goatee or whatever, and I was like, oh yeah, not everyone likes his goatee at first, but then I just kind of like it. And then Al went, I'm different. I like his goatee from the very beginning.
I'm not like the other girly pops. I liked his goatee from the start.
Oh, I remember that game, Random, actually. I think a YouTuber played it, and I thought it was like really cool. I wish there were more games like that. It would be so cool. McDonald's.
Hey, emojis are working again.
Ayo.
Oh my god, what the fuck?
Discord,
Hey,
Discord, are
did
you
you know
back?
that Discord broke?
Yeah, it
I
broke
still
on
can't
Hold
see
on.
what
there.
emotes
Let me send an
just
image.
sent.
What? Oh.
It broke. Nope.
It's still broken for me!
Never mind, it's still broken. Just on my end, I can see emotes.
Speed one. It's even worse. No.
Wait, can I send a sticker? Oh no!
Never mind, it's even more broken now.
Oh my
They're all
god,
just
I
saying,
looked at the
"Uh-oh."
stickers and it just says oops. This is I only have shrimp. It's not even loading.
It just says oops.
Yeah.
What's happening?
It's only oops.
Zoobs. Chantal,
Discord, what's
the
going on?
Discord broken.
Hey, Twitter, what's going on with Discord? It's killing itself again.
Where's my
Do
phone?
you think the pants would have been tight pants or loose at the end? I feel like he would be a wide-legged
Are you
pants.
suggesting that he either wears skinny jeans or bell bottoms?
Yes. Yes,
I don't
am.
know, honestly.
I don't know either. You know what? Probably, maybe skinny jeans, maybe. So
I feel like he would wear boots over them, but that could just be me and my obsession with boots.
That's because you saw the fan art by Dr. Chalk.
I think
Anyways,
bell
everyone's
bottoms
having
would look really nice, actually.
Anyways,
Fuck
I checked
y'all.
Twitter. And... Anyways, I
Fuck
checked
y'all,
Twitter,
I
and
want the
apparently
bell bottoms.
and everyone says that Discord is broken and keeps cannibalizing all the media.
Real. Yum 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 yum.
Oh my god, it's been forever since I heard that.
It plays in
Same.
my head
Feels
every now
so-
and then.
I feel so old now.
Stop
Ow.
it! You'll make Al
We went
sad.
through this. We went through this yesterday.
You'll make Al sad.
Oh,
Don't
yeah.
say that.
Oh yeah, because apparently I confused Al with Bay's age. I thought Al was 24 and Bay was 25.
No way.
I was about to say don't say my name on stream, but or not name, age, but whatever.
You're still... Don't boomer Discord meeting.
Shut up! Shut up, says the college student. You're not that much younger than us. Besides, you have a baby in the call. They just are muted.
That's true.
Yeah, they just turned
Just-
18.
You
You're
know?
Giving away
now-
everyone's age right now. Live on Twitch.
Did someone clip me singing the singing part? But I'm still younger. Shut the fuck. You sound like Calix. Oh my god. Calix,
Don't
okay,
worry about
Grandma.
it, Grandpa.
Let's get you to bed. I'll go to bed when I want. God damn.
Oh, that's pretty. I immediately got distracted on Twitter.
Stop. Stop. Stop it.
Nope.
Pay attention to me. Pay attention to me. I'm the star.
I'm the streamer.
Here, I'll pay attention to you by just sending you
Oh,
what I see.
Belly like my co-retweet because yeah, Belly is the favorite of fucking Albert. Wait, if he joins stream, it'd be funny.
Should I draw Albert? Okay, I'll go draw Albert.
Just draw Albert losing his balls.
I can't draw that, Eliza. Not with the Twitch guidelines. First of all, I'm very honored that you think I'm capable of doing that. Second of all, that is against Twitch TOS.
What do you mean? He just lost his basketball in the street.
Yeah.
Sure.
We can also
Or I
draw
could be
Albert
American. He
and-
lost his soccer ball somewhere.
Not the
or he could, like-
soccer ball.
Okay. So in the
American.
so in the VG Psalm server, I think I told you guys about this. But I also told Chad about this. So in the server or whatever, there was an inside joke.
Who is playing music?
Sorry, I'm on Twitter.
Stop that!
It's a capybara swimming.
Don't play copyright music.
Do you want me to get
Or else-
copyright strike? Dude, what the hell?
No, capybara, the animal.
Capybara.
I'm getting copyright
Capybara will
strike.
get you a
Copyright strike, more
Capybara.
like.
Don't worry, the voice changer will fuck it up enough that you won't get
It's
one.
like Nightcore. It's like Nightcore. It's like Nightcore.
It's like a remix.
It's like Nightcore, holy shit.
Okay, so I'm gonna try to chat this. There's an inside joke in the BT Psalm server. Also, anyone from that server, hi.
Hi, this is
So-
Eliza.
Hi.
Sup?
That's right. I wrote fucking fixed or whatever.
Oh,
I don't
here.
know. I
I'm the
write-
Let me
Clodger
shrink
emote
myself.
guy.
Yeah, they made the emote.
I will
Yee,
make more,
because
maybe.
I was like,
Yeah, it took me like
Make
3
it
months
sure.
to finish.
Now you can see everyone.
Yippee. in that server, there was an inside joke, and I think it's just one person, I think, and they kept joking about Albert and his cock, but like,
I remember this.
and then, but instead of what it's like you think it looks like, but it's just a chicken or rooster, I guess. And he keeps calling it his cock or whatever. And everyone in that server was losing their fucking mind. like, what the fuck?
I
That's a
remember
chicken.
when you sent me that video you edited based off of
Oh
that.
yeah, okay. Oh yeah, it was a fucking line, I think. It was like, hey, you wanna see a picture of my cock? Hell nah! Slides a picture under, picture of my cock. That's a chicken, motherfucker. And then,
It's like
so yeah, that's
being
the
like,
inside joke.
it's being like, you want to see a picture of my ass? To someone, and then you
Donkey.
show them your donkey.
Donkey.
Donkey. Victor.
Okay,
College.
I think Alex knows the story,
College.
but
Yeah?
I think Alex knows the story. And maybe and random doesn't. Also, Chad doesn't. So, when Al, Bay, and I were playing Overcooked 2 in the Lifeboat server, and I kept getting distracted by the fucking Albercock convo thing with the stupid chicken. And you know what Al did? You wanna know what Al did?
Why?
What did I do? I can't remember.
Al decided to invite Bay to the BT Song server when I wasn't looking.
Oh, I know about this.
It was so good.
And keep in mind, I was distracted by the stupid chicken combo. And then when I was like looking at the combo, and then the freaking admin was like, "Everyone, quick! Someone joined the server. Be normal." And I look and check, and I go, "Bay,
Bailey.
what are you doing? What are you doing here?"
And I'm just on call dying.
And then we decided
Look
to
at
fucking
my
go
tiny
to that
little man.
server. And then we go into that server and just like have Overcooked 2 stream over there, I guess. I don't know. And we just gave Albert pizza.
Remember
That was a good day.
when you played 14 Days with you and I was half asleep, basically?
Yeah, you were awake for like 25 hours.
Yeah. No,
Yeah.
it was more than that at that point. I was.
I wonder why you stayed up.
You'll find out tomorrow. I'm gonna play it on
God.
stream.
It's an SW game though.
Yeah, and
Not
I
if
have
you
triggers
avoid the
set up
options.
for it, okay? Content classification, bro. That's how it works. Wait, actually, let me check
I
if it's
bet.
already a game category. And then 14 days. Yeah. Oh, they don't
Is
have
this
content
streamable?
classification. I'll put it up though. It's okay. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Calm down
I
there,
love-
Alec.
My baby girl.
We'll just see the SW scenes in the other Discord call.
Alright. Anyway, who else should I draw? Albert. I drew myself
Albert,
as
'cause
Albert.
Yeah.
Kruger sounds like a
We-
German name though.
I mean, his middle name is Gerald.
Awful name.
He has a middle name.
Yeah, he has a middle name!
I do too. Okay.
I also have a middle name.
It's
And
C.
it's currently this one.
My
I
name.
do too.
My name. Is it the?
The
No, is it Doom? No, it's your entire Twitch username and your last name is
My
the
first
third.
name is Sir. My middle name is Doom. My last name is Sir.
The
Please refer
third.
to me by my full name.
the third.
The third is just. Yeah.
Is it not elusive Sir Doom? Sure. Which part is your middle name?
Civ.
Oh, this part.
Civ.
So your first name is Alu? Eri-chan. Anyway.
First name giveaway.
My full name is oh shit, actually made that an R.
Al's last name would be E.
My name
Ironically.
my name is ALEKSIELIA. First name Alec, middle name C, last name Leah.
I didn't know your middle name was a Spanish word for yes.
No, it's actually I'm pretty sure it's Latin actually. The SIE. It's not just
Oh, yeah,
SI.
Sorry.
Excuse you.
My, my name. Okay,
Oh,
first
sorry, it's
name
in German. My bad.
German. Okay.
It
My
means
first name was-
she, and she, you, they in German.
Alright.
She, and she. And she, sorry. It's basically a
you're-
pronoun. Alec, they, Leah. Ah, that's funny.
Okay, what would my username be? First name, Board. Middle name, Fan. Last name, Eliza.
We call you by your last name.
Or in a Japanese high school. Or whatever.
Fuck, I have to reverse my name.
You know what's funny? Because streamers just call me Bored instead of my actual name.
Yeah, the real name at the end of your username. Ah, yes. My favorite. Actually, it's not even bored. It's B0 red. 0 red.
Oh yeah, that's true.
Oh yeah, because my username got stolen, I guess. I don't know what happened.
The fucking young username. What the fuck? It's such a long username.
I don't know.
B0 fan Eliza. But I guess it's actually Eliza fan board.
And of course, Alex retweeting Draco art.
Shut up! It was a spur of the moment thing. I say going back on Twitter to retweet more.
Yippee, Draco.
Ah!
And Draco dying, let's go.
Spoilers. We say
Oh, yeah,
having
Draco died.
talked about it the entire time.
It's part of his canon event.
It's part of my canon event. I'm gonna become evil.
My canon event is that I just ran out of tea, and I'm sad.
Oh no,
My
not the
canon
team.
event is that I was found in a dumpster.
My canon event was waking up.
Right, I need one more Vicky-some character to draw. Oh,
Besides
actually,
that-
I know how. I know. I did it.
Oh yeah, I need to tell about my OC or whatever.
Oh
OC
yes!
from-
Oh my God, Zoob, are you still here? Zoob, Zoob!
Oh yeah,
Zoob!
Showcane! Showcane!
I have to pull up Sims 4 first. Actually, I have to see if it works. I don't know if I need to update my mods or not.
You gotta show my-
Kudasai. Can you please fucking load? Okay, I'm gonna.
No,
What the fuck?
it refuses.
Okay, it's already running. Where is it then? Where is it running to? Nowhere?
Me. It's my child now. Adoption arc.
What the fuck? Eliza, they're stealing Kane.
Why are they stealing Kane? Hello?
I don't know, ask Al.
Give me back. Al,
Alright.
give me back my cringe veggie boy.
Mine now. He's dating
No.
my cat. Technically,
Son-in-law.
I'm related now.
Son-in-law.
They have a son-in-law. Oh yeah, YouTube works. YouTube links aren't working, and Discord. Yippee!
Nothing's working.
Scream and shout. Alright, okay, I'm gonna face forward now, guys.
Alec jump scare.
I'm not even loaded in yet. What jump scare? Hey.
Oh, there goes Alec.
You're gone. Gone to the void. Got snatched.
What do you mean?
Oh,
I'm right here.
There you are.
There you are.
Oh, you're zooming in.
Oh no,
Oh, you're peeking over. Oh,
Alex is gonna eat us.
please don't. I'm plastic. And wires.
That's also plastic, isn't it?
Give you indigestion.
For free?
For free?
I'm back to
No,
being a car.
Alright, okay, it's
Vroom, vroom.
working. I think. Alright, give me a second. Game capture.
There it is.
Wait, I can't be mean because I was about to say something dumb. That's like,
Where the fuck is my
who's
game
going to
audio? Where's my game audio?
Beep,
Apparently,
beep, beep,
Discord ate that.
No.
beep,
My
beep,
game
beep.
audio.
Also,
Beep.
who's going to ride L?
beep, 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 beep.
Not me.
I'm not
Goddamn.
right. Not me. I
Not
don't know how to
it.
drive.
Me
Beep, beep.
neither. You
No,
can,
I'm the only one with a
are you
license. Beep, beep.
Are you
I'll
self-driving?
drive myself. I'll ride myself.
Ew. Don't say it like that.
Please don't say it like that, L.
Ah.
Oh,
Oh no.
Just- Bro disappeared. No,
Right.
No, they crashed.
Beep, beep.
They crashed.
Beep,
Oh
I am a
no.
car. I can't speak English. Beep, beep.
What the fuck am I hearing then? Holy shit. Goddamn, the
I know how to
translations
make
translation apps go crazy.
I
Beep,
know
beep.
how to make L. I know how to make L speak English. Hey, look, L. There's Yowie on Twitter.
Honk, honk. Vroom. Screech.
What? What the fuck is happening? Oh wait, is soundboard's working?
At least that's working.
Why
Oh
did
my
this-
god, guys, Merlin's taking out the trash.
Merlin!
Why is there no sound? Oh. It's because I didn't have it turned off. Why? Alright, where is Kane? Alright, this is Kane.
You know what? I gotta go look for my IRL cat. Be right back.
Alright.
It just brings Merlin to meet gamer Merlin. Oh, there's Kane!
This is Kane. He's a cringe streamer like me.
My little veggie guy.
Alright, okay, let's
My
go.
girl failure.
Let's go into
Boy
the
failure.
failure.
It's all the failure.
My failure, period. Alright, let's have a look-sees.
Skimbo you nabla.
He's completely normal. What is this? Your winter outfit? Here
Of
we go.
course, you were tweeting check out Boy Draco.
I like that his eyebrows do not match his hair color. Fucking poggers.
Oh no, it's undyed.
Maybe the eyebrows are the dyed part.
I dyed my eyebrows a different color so I can be this way. Or edgy, I don't know.
You don't understand, Mom. You'll never understand. The Black Parade.
Emo ass bitch.
Mm-hmm.
I made him.
And I made the sim.
Oh yeah, I guess I could tell Soup the
This is Elle's cat. Well, based off of Elle's cat. Hamster. I can't zoom out from this.
Look at the big boy.
I can't zoom out. His name is Merlin.
Merlin. Little baby, little guy. Oh yeah, I can tell Soup the freaking Kane and Victor lore.
Oh my god. Not the lore.
Traumat. I
Why,
could traumatize them.
why are you traumatizing my chat?
Yeah. We already traumatized them seeing Draco die. And also what is it? Uh, my cooking skills
This
is
is
just mostly eggs.
this is Merlin if he was human.
He tried to be a werewolf, but it didn't work out.
It annoyed me. And this is Dao, another OC.
No, my little cryptic guy. I
This
love
is
them.
Hisu.
Hehe.
If they load, my actual OC. I didn't like the clothing options for the male body, so I give them a femme body. Alright, I think I'm gonna head out of stream first though. It is EP time.
Time for EP.
Yeah. Alright, okay, we're gonna end it off there. Zub, I have to go. Zub, I have to go. Yeah. Alright, I'm gonna leave Discord. I will be back maybe.
I love that Al leaves to get Merlin and then just comes back.
And as stream
to
ended. Alright. Okay. I'll be back. Maybe. Alright, Zub. It's just, well, it's not just me and you. Everyone else is still here, but in chat. But I have two goers. Alright. Bye-bye.